If this land could talk or remember, what would it say?
Hey, just to make sure it's clear, fuck you. Shut up. Shut up and go fuck yourself. Fuck you and fuck you. Take your... I don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a fuck about you. Go the fuck home. Nobody fucking cares about your bullshit. You walk around with your fucking tailgate party and your goddamn nonsense. Nobody fucking cares. Exactly. Put your fucking camera away. Shut up, your fucking ass, piece of shit. You got fucking fuck you, and fuck you. There, you got get my fucking statement last time? Fuck off. Go fuck yourself.
And hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. You not be able to keep a good connection for long? Your power went off at your place, Andrea? I'm sorry. Oh my god. I just caught a Tapu Koko while I was doing the opening. Network error. No, it's fine. We got it. We got the Tapu Koko. Let's go. Let's go. I was waiting for the stupid raid to have people in it like for half an hour, and like right near the end people were starting to show up. Hello Zero, I see a gamer at Zero. Why does he kiss does he kiss his mother with that mouth? Hello La Quadria. We got Roxas in the chat. Bobby, I see you. Dawn Wanderer. We have our Supreme Canucklehead Harima in the chat as well. Randy Scribner Jr. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Who else did I miss? We have Mood Cap hiding in there somewhere as well. Ellie is here. I tried to invite as many people as I could, but it was like 30 seconds before the thing, because I noticed it late. So all right, let's start by making all of these into one. So I was trying to compile all the stuff that we were going through, or we're going to go through here. All the stuff that we're going to go through today. So bear with me as I drag all of them into one window so it's much easier to deal with here. We're going to get that done up in a little minute today. We're doing this live right now. I should have done this before, but you know how it is. You know how it is. You stop. Guess you don't want to go in that window. Oh my god. Anyway, we are going to talk about the Damon Mills situation today. Is what we're going to do. Damon Mills has been a naughty boy, unfortunately. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about, because there's a lot to go through. So I'm starting early today because there's a fucking shit ton of this stuff to read. And reading takes a bit of time. So we're gonna read through all of these DMs today. And we're going to read through the allegation today. We're going to read through the allegation first, and then we're going to read through the DMs. Now that I've got all of those in a nice, happy little area, I can pair that over here too. So, that off for a moment. Oh my god. DM. All right. So yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time today. I hope my alcohol arrives soon. You wouldn't call Mills a naughty boy? Is that so? Distract enemies. I need to have that clip when you do it live. All right, I'm gonna read back here. So let's see. Got your autograph from Damon, and it's tainted. Tried to be nice and give it a little bit of doubt, but when getting it, feel like you got punished for it. It's one of those situations, right? It's one of those situations. He's gotta wait on Stan. Absolutely. Stan needs to be here. There's only one mod here. It's true. Very naughty, too naughty. You saw the clown crew has returned. We're going to talk about that today, too, briefly. Before we get into the meat and potatoes. We're going to talk about that. Now, you call him a wall decoration. Oh, I see. The disgusting allegations today. Yes, Harima. If there's enough time, I will extend an invite for you to come on. I'll just have you on the Discord, Harima. It's easier to set up than a stupid StreamYard because that takes it takes way too long. Reminds you of the song "Naughty Naughty Boy." Oh my god! So I did actually have beer on the way. Well, not beer. Hello, Twisted Puppet. I got a gin smash, which is like my favorite type of drink, by the way. When we had our Ribbon Beer Fest. Yeah, I'll get you on here in a little bit. Because I know that you had some opinions on the matter that you wanted to share as well. So I'll happily invite you on. Once because I've given myself an extra hour to go through this stuff, so I should have some time. Because hopefully you'll be around. But I did order some alcohol to help me get through this stuff. So I hope it'll show up before we get to the DMs. Because I'm gonna need it. You hate public call out allegations because things get distorted, but I hope my reading is going to help with the clarity. I don't know, Sam. This is one of those things where more details need to come out. Like, more details absolutely need to come out. Please tell me I'm going to be discussing the podcast from the favorite dumb broads. Did they make a new one? I already talked about their first one, or like whatever the hell that was. I'm not entirely sure what that was. Been a shitty week for you. I'm sorry, Roxas. The judge in your state says he should be in prison for that. I mean, I agree. The things that have gone on are extremely questionable, and there's a lot of layers to this story that I'm going to be talking about. But while people file in here, so we can, before we get to the main event, as you can see, I have the one thing pulled up already. I have the one archive previewed right behind here, so we'll have that in just a moment. Let's get that set up. So that's already. Yeah, you have to catch up on that one. I didn't really talk much about it because there's not really much to talk about on that podcast, but yeah, who knows if they're you're allowed to honk the horn. There's no horns left to honk. Tracked enemies, they're all gone. But yeah, as you can see, I have the archive pulled up here just to go over it. Love to joke and all, but my God, you have no room for any more anger. Yeah, I can feel it. Hello, Nyx Hex. Good grief. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of the situation today, I'm going to let people fill in a little bit here, and then we're gonna get into this, because this is a pretty serious discussion that I want to bring up. I want to bring up the differences between credible allegations and complete bullshit allegations, and we've seen both, right? And I'll get into the differences and my thoughts on what the allegations are, on which one of those categories it falls into. But for those of you who don't know, apparently, I didn't know this, I just found this out today. Apparently today, March 12th, is like Detrans Visibility Day, apparently. Apparently that's a thing now. I didn't even know that was a thing. Apparently there's a day for everything now. I'm just waiting for a National Stick Your Dick in a Light Socket Day, because, apparently that's a day too. But Detrans Visibility Day is March 12th, apparently. And from what I can tell by the hashtag, it is, I just disappeared. Did I just disappear? Hello. Oh. Here. Hello, everybody. I'm still here. I just lost my, I thought I lost my microphone, but I just had to scroll it down. No, apparently Detrans Visibility Day is today, apparently. And according to the hashtag, because I looked through a bunch of tweets. And apparently detransitioning is really only a thing for female to male trans, apparently. It's also the anniversary of the founding of the Girl Scouts. That's hilarious. Oh, I'm transparent, am I? I have all of a sudden turned into John Cena. I understand now. I understand. That took me a minute. But looking through the hashtags and everyone who is, I disappeared for a minute. Everyone who is quote unquote celebrating detransitioning visibility day, I guess. They're all female to male trans, or were female to male trans. And they all transitioned between the ages of 13 and 21. So, I mean, I guess good for them. They figured out that they didn't have gender dysphoria. All they had was autism. Literally what they said. I'm not joking, kids. Go look at the hashtag on Twitter. That is legitimately like 100% of the 100% of the hashtags. Yeah, it's detrans visibility day. They're detransitioning. It's people who have detransitioned from being trans. 100% of the tweets that I saw, and I went through like probably a few hundred, if not upwards to 1,000. They were all female to male trans, and they started going on testosterone at 13. Some of them as high as 21 was the highest that I saw. They were 21 when they started testosterone, and they found out years later that they weren't actually trans. They just had autism because and folks, the reasons for transitioning gender and reasons for gender affirming surgery are as such, right? The actual reason for doing it should be because you have gender dysphoria and you cannot live your life as that gender. You have gender dysphoria, or you are at risk of harming yourself or committing anhero because you do not feel like you're in the correct gender or body. That's it. The reasons that I'm seeing people post under this hashtag are, I don't fit in with other girls. I'm awkward socially. I just felt like doing it. These are not reasons to transition, people. These are not reasons to go and take a surgery or a pill or a medication. These are not reasons that are irrevocably, you have to do this. That is not being trans. That's just being stupid. That's just being an idiot and this comes down to a lot of the parenting, which is why I'm bringing this up in this situation, because I think parenting had a lot to do with this whole Damon Mills situation too, which is why I'm bringing this up. But the whole point here is that I have a doggo upstairs, and the doggo is very sad and lonely. My roommate got a dog. Well, my roommate had a dog, and he brought him when he moved in. And they went out for like dinner with their kids, and the doggo is upstairs crying right now. So if you hear a doggo crying, I am not torturing a doggo. It's my roommate's doggo. So getting back to the parents thing, it comes down to the parents, right? Because the parents need to fucking parent their goddamn kids. The parents need to parent their children. I can't bring the doggo because he's really, he's old, but he's really rambunctious. He's a cute doggo. He's a big doggo too. I can't bring the doggo because he's going to be crying and whining the whole time. He does need love. He's just a big drama queen. So, but the parents need to parent their children is what needs to happen here. Because if you are giving a child at 13 years of age hormones, I would argue kids don't know what the fuck people in general don't settle into who they are until like 30 years old, right? Have you dated anybody when you were 18, 19, 25? Like, people change daily when it comes to this stuff. Denying request for doggo or stream or ever. I'm pretty sure he's in my roommate's room and the door is closed, so I can't go into my roommate's room and let him out. That'd be rude. If the door was open, I'd go upstairs and bring the doggo down, but I think the door is closed. So I thought it was the state's job to parent the kids, not the parents. That's what we're seeing right now, which is why it's a very, very important thing to bring up. So the whole reason I'm including it in the show today was because looking at this swath, right? The 13 to 21. So now they're like 25, 30, right? Like now they're like 25, 30, give or take. And it's like, it's this generation that came up that didn't have fucking parents. They didn't have parents. And people really want to see the doggo. I know. He's a cutie. He's an old boy. He's 12 years old. He's just drama doggo. Because he wants chicken. He wants chicken. That's all he ever wants from me. Because I get chicken and he wants my chicken. He doesn't want me. He wants my chicken. So, are people upset that they're detransitioning? So here's the thing. There's a lot of individuals out there that use people who are detransitioning as excuses as to why transitioning is bad. Do I have a picture of the doggo? I could probably pull one up on my phone. I could satisfy you guys with a photo of the dog. For now. He's like a corgi mix, I think. He's like a corgi lab, I think. He's pretty big. He looks small in this photo, but he's not small, I assure you. Oh my god. He is a medium to large sized dog. He is a cutie. You can see him. That is the big drama. That is the big drama mutt that is upstairs. He's cute. He's an old boy. There you go. There you go. So there's a lot of people, and it's going to turn into a doggo stream real quick. There's a lot of people that that use detransitioning as an excuse as to why no one should ever transition ever. The point here is that people are transitioning that should never have transitioned to begin with. Like, I hate using Dr. Phil as an example, but Dr. Phil has people on the show all the time that are under bunches of medications and shit like that they should never have been prescribed because they just have lazy fucking doctors. So when doctors that, I mean, honestly, if doctor prescribes a fucking 13-year-old hormone replacement therapy, they should be disbarred, dislicensed, whatever the hell it is, removed from the fucking industry, because that's just them signing off on whatever the person wants to have. There's a process in place to determine this stuff, and it comes down to the fucking parents to say, no, this is not what it is. I'm going to find out what the issue is here. We're going to go through this and we're going to find it. Because you can't leave a fucking decision up to a child. You can't leave that decision up to a child. Seriously. Like, you can't even leave that decision up to an 18, 19-year-old. It takes time, but it is what it is. If a 19-year-old wants to get hormone replacement therapy, then they go through the thing. But there should be checks and balances in places for that stuff. 100% should be checks and balances in places for that stuff, because it's a difference between having dissociative identity disorder and having gender dysphoria. Those are two separate things that should be treated two separate ways. They're not a catch-all. It's not a catch-all. You feel so bad for D-trans people. All the ones you've spoken to said there's things that just never come back and they're never the same. They're not. No. There's like, when you physically remove something from your body, or you take hormones that permanently change the way that you operate, things don't come back. That's why that's why you have to be absolutely sure that you were doing this. Because it's like, yeah, Dr. Phil's against over medication. Absolutely. Like, I don't like a lot of the stuff that he does, but that's one of the things that I am very happy that he is outspoken against. Over medicating is like the worst fucking thing ever. And it's so fucking common. It's so fucking common. Like, it's so ridiculous. My personal opinion, Don Wanderer, I don't think people under the age of 20 should be taking hormone replacement therapy. I don't think so. I understand the benefits of giving a person who is prepubescent or whatever else. I understand the benefits of giving them hormone replacement therapy because they would develop naturally as they would if they were born that gender. However, I would also argue extremely counter to that fact. There are 99% more cons than there are the 1% benefit. Because you don't... The whole thing is, tomboys exist, right? Like, feminine boys exist and masculine girls exist. As cisgender individuals, that is a thing that exists. Like, I don't understand why we're making it so that it's not acceptable anymore. I don't understand that. You can have girls that like dump trucks and that like dinosaurs. That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that they're a guy. That doesn't mean that they're a boy. That's not what transitioning and hormone replacement therapy is for. That's not it anymore. Like, look at strong feminine roles, right? Look at strong females in media traditionally, like Ridley, Alien, right? Or like Ellen Ripley, whatever her name is, in Alien, strong female role. You have Cara Dune, strong female role. Like, you have feminine men who are also extremely powerful in their positions as well. Ripley, thank you. I'm getting Metroid mixed up. Metroid, Samus Aran, strong female. Xena, very powerful female. You have your traditional feminine, and you have your like more strong, like big built females. Bayonetta's more like feminine built, but yeah, strong female. Like Chris Tucker's character is more feminine, but is very man. Like, he's very much a man. Exactly. You don't see that often. You have the Neil Patrick Harrises, right? Who are less macho masculine, but they're still very manly. Those exist. These paradigms exist. They exist for a reason. Like, yeah, exactly. Jareth is a great example. From Labyrinth. David Bowie. Just David Bowie in general is not your stereotypical masculine, but he is very much a male figure. Like, these are things it's like you can be. I'm talking crazy talk. You can be on that on a different paradigm and not be trans. Being trans is completely different from that. Yeah, 2.5 Men has two sides of the male spectrum. Exactly. Exactly. Like, it's so. Prince is another great example too, and they don't Freddie Mercury, and they don't even have to be gay. You can have straight men that are very feminine, but are still very manly. They're still very men, right? They're not the artist formerly known as Prince. Like, boys can play with Barbies, girls can play with G.I. Joes. Like, it's like working. It's so, like, Michael Jackson, another great example. Working in a clothing department, it's so frustrating every time that I'm like, because I'm in the kids section of the clothing department, so like I deal with like there's 3 sections, right? There's kids, women's, and men's. I'm in the kids section, and the amount of times in a day I come up and get asked, "Oh, is this for a boy or a girl?" I'm like, it could be either. It's literally a piece of clothing for a fucking amorphous blob of a child that doesn't have defining features. The only defining feature on this fucking thing is if it's pink or blue. Like, literally, it could be yellow or green. There's grays. You could literally have any child wearing this. Literally have any child wearing it. Just slap it on them. They'll be wearing it for a month. Who cares? Like, it's so frustrating because people get so fucking hung up over like gender roles on clothing for fucking babies that are gonna puke on it, and they're gonna wear it like maybe once or twice, and they're gonna shit on it so bad that they have to throw it out. What does it fucking matter if the kid's not gonna remember if they wore fucking daffodils or ducks? They don't fucking care. They're a baby. Like, why do we care so fucking much about pushing our own shit onto things that don't fucking matter at all? Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's a reason why it has the word unisex on a shirt. Exactly. Like, good Lord. Yeah, strong women. There's lots of strong women out there too, just like feminine women. But I digress. It comes down to we're pushing way too much shit, way too much responsibility and all this stuff on to kids that just have not had a fucking chance to just be a child. Just let them be kids. Why are we fucking forcing them into situations where they have to make adult decisions? What is it? Why are we doing this? Let them enjoy being kids. For God's sake. Let them enjoy being children, and for God's sake, can we fucking protect them, please? Can we go back to protecting them instead of going back, instead of this weird pseudo-parenting where we just pretend kids don't fucking exist? Can we stop doing that, please? Can we stop shoving a fucking tablet in their face and letting YouTube educate them? Can we just let children be children, and like actually parent them and actually step up and, do the role as society? Like, good Lord. Exactly. Take these kids to Chuck E. Cheese. Let them lick the fucking carpet and get sick. Let them develop an immune system. You see the non-binary flag shirts that came in men's, women's sizes? Oh my God. Good grief. I digress. Like this shirt that I'm wearing right now, this one right now that I'm wearing, this hoodie, or not a hoodie, it's a sweatshirt. This is a unisex shirt. It's a unisex shirt. The sticker actually said, this is what the men's size is, this is what the woman's size is on the same sticker. And people were still like, oh, is this for a man or a woman? It's for fucking anybody. It's for everybody. Literally every piece of clothing could be worn by anybody. If you find a thing big enough or small enough to cover all of your bits, then yes, it can be worn by literally fucking anybody. We haven't gotten to the point where we're clothing different species yet, so there you go. They're just miniature adults. That's like, it's such a dumb thing. Like, they want them to, like, there's so many parents out there that want their kids to be adults because I don't know what it is. We're going to get into this discussion here because Duncan's mother is one of these parents. We're going to get into that in a minute. And why it's important. Why it doesn't make sense for us. I'm going to get into why it doesn't make sense for us, you and me, folks. I'm going to get into why it doesn't make sense for us as to why this mother didn't fucking step in here. Because this is the generation after us that this happened to, by the way. If you are 30 and above, you probably have no idea why this mother was like this. This is the fucking generation from the 20 to 30s. This is the parenting they grew up with right now. This is the result of the parenting that we grew up with, right? That they grew up with. You dog shirts for your... This is true, Nix. This is true. You have noticed female ones have more in the chest while the males don't? No, not all of them. Not all of them. Depends on the brand. Some of the women's shirts are longer. Men's shirts tend to be a bit shorter. But there are plenty of women's shirts that are very, very short as well. Tommy Hilfiger is fucking especially bad for it. They bring out like full ass like parka hoodies that like cut off at the fucking belly button for God knows whatever reason, because you know every woman is apparently like the fucking shortest torso on the planet for Tommy Hilfiger. Like, good grief. A lot of excuses is you see parents spank them and they're traumatized. Well, they went from overly disciplining children to not disciplining them, no discipline whatsoever. Holistic discipline. And being your best friend, like being your kid's best friend, which you can't be. You can't be at all. Women's shirts you have a problem with because they're comfortable as hell, while men's are made like cheap material. Women's shirts are very comfortable. And the pockets are very useless. That's by design, by the way. Pockets, so before we jump into the main topic here, pockets on women's pants don't exist because purses do, by the way. That's a design by the fashion industry to sell accessories. So to sell purses, to sell like giant ass fucking wallet container things and everything else, and handbags and blah blah blah. That's all designed to push accessories for women. So you don't get pockets because marketing. I want pockets too, goddammit. Trying to find like pants that make my ass look good with any fucking pockets whatsoever is impossible. Remember when you were 13, you had no tits and your large-chested friend tried on one of your shirts and it was forever stretched and ruined? Oh no, Sam. Oh no. You think that would apply to men's jeans too? You'd think, but men traditionally, the thing is for men is men buy wallets. Men buy wallets, and that's a huge market. Men don't buy handbag accessories. They don't buy that stuff. They buy wallets. They buy things to go in their wallets. So you always find the men's jeans have deeper pockets so that they can fit bigger wallets. Depending on the trend, because sometimes they go for slimmer wallets. But yeah, fashion industry is a giant racket. Giant racket. And it's very interesting to see all the time. But women definitely have more options for clothing. Men's very limited for clothing, unfortunately, for guys. Lots more variety for women. All right, let's without further ado. Am I going to go into a Ridge ad now? No. Ridge doesn't sponsor me because I don't bring in enough viewers. So He'd push the man bag next. There's not enough. The funny part is there's not enough soy boys out there to buy, and the soy boys that are out there don't have money, so they spend all their money on on their looks. They don't spend anything on accessories. Yeah, shallow pockets are insane. I don't know why that's even a thing, but I mean, I guess I'm gonna follow the Johnny Depp case. I think there's other people out there that are doing it to death, and I don't think another voice is going to bring any more substance to the Johnny Depp case. So I'm steering clear of it right now until there's something like super duper important to talk about. I'll talk about it, but there's a number of YouTubers out there that are literally spending like every waking hour of their life doing videos on it. So plenty of spots to go look for it if you want to look for it. I try to cover the stuff that's a little bit less off the beaten path. Obviously, Damon Mills is much more mainstream, but this is also in line with a lot of the other content that I talk about. So I kind of blend it all together, a little bit. So hopefully you guys don't get sick of me. Oh God. And if you haven't noticed, we're kind of like putting this off. This is a pretty disgusting topic to talk about. So without further ado, let's get into this a little bit more. I have to hold on a second here. I have to stretch this out like Sam's friend stretched out her shirt. Let's get this fully in here. Is this going to take a minute? You're welcome, Sam. Finally got weekends off, so be watching it regularly. Let's go. All right. Mills is a disgusting person. I don't even know why I thought Auto modded that, but yes, I agree. I agree that Mills is a disgusting person, 100%. I guess we can just make that bigger on the bottom too. There we go. Make it bigger. You guys can read it along with me. All right. I am going to no bully to Sam. I am going to replace some words in here so that I have a hope of it being monetized. I don't think it's going to happen. But, here we go. So this is the archived document of the Google Doc that first came out from Duncan. Duncan was the one that first brought this to light. It says that Damon Mills mole-manned me. Damon Mills mole-manned me. I've been meaning to speak up about this to get this off my chest for quite some time now. I have always been too afraid to speak up. Only I should be bullied. Given his standing in the entertainment industry, however, I feel this information may help others in not making the same mistakes that I have. So this was archived in March 9th. This was archived March 9th. As far as I'm aware, this was actually brought to light a few months ago. This document, this Google Doc has been around for several months, from what I understand. And folks, you'll be happy to know that my roommates just got home, so the doggo will not be lonely. Doggo will be happy. And so this all happened in between 2012 to 2015. So Duncan states, this is one thing I can't quite understand, that people just assumed was different because some random person said on the internet that the age of consent was 16 during this, or that they were like not a minor or whatever else, and they just swept it under the rug that they were legal age this whole time. I don't know where people got it that Duncan was over 18. I don't get it. But apparently was never 18 at any point in time during this. At any point in time during this. So I was a 15-year-old boy, a minor. Damon, a 19-year-old adult, met me over Facebook, and due to similar interests, we became friends. It was very early on that he admitted that he had feelings for me. I tried to be as nice as possible while stating I did not feel the same, but did not want to affect our friendship. He continued to talk to me every day, texting me constantly, getting angry and emotionally attacking me if I did not respond as quickly as he did. He would often bring up that he felt sexually and emotionally attached to me. All of these things that I would try to avoid. He was a minor when it happened. He's older now, yes. He is older now. So... I can hear the doggo. So here's the thing. I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying kid was stupid, kid was this, kid was that, blah 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 blah. I don't know if Duncan at any point in time was questioning. Don't know. Could have been that he didn't have many friends. Could have been that he was an outcast or, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea. I don't know what his situation is. He never brings it up in this entire thing. But to dismiss it that, he shouldn't be around this person because, they're gay and blah, 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 blah. Kid was a kid. Exactly. It's disingenuous to the situation that's at hand here. From what I'm seeing here, Duncan was friends with was friends with Damon. Yo McTown podcast with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Your family is hostage and you must select one of the following for Prime Minister. Leslyn Lewis, Patrick Brown, Pierre Polly, whatever his name is, or Jean Charest. Which one would you choose? Good question. Probably would go with Patrick Brown. Because he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo, and he probably would only last one term. I would say Patrick Brown. I would say Patrick Brown. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Appreciate it. So, folks, for those people who are saying it's like, he's not gay, he shouldn't be around this person. He could have been questioning himself. I don't know. He says that he wasn't gay. I was straight, and I hung out with plenty of gay people and that had interest in me, and I didn't have interest in them. But you state your barriers, right? You put your things out there and say, no, this is my barrier. We don't do that stuff. Is what it is. So I don't know what his situation was. I don't know if he didn't have many friends. I don't know if he felt bad that, or if he got threatened or what have you. No clue. Speaking of Me Too, would you cover Patrick Brown's lawsuit? He has a lawsuit? I have no idea about that. I'll look into it, though. I definitely would look into that. That's funny. It's funny that he does. After a year of long-distance friendship, he moved closer. An hour away. Another red flag. A couple times a month he would go out of his way to visit me. I was a child, and he didn't fully grasp the invasive nature behind this. So, again, there's some things... Oh, he sued CTV for his Me Too case. Really? I'll have to look into that. So, there's a few things here that I would like in an allegation, right? I want things that are relevant to the allegation. I don't think at any point in time Duncan has stated that Damon specifically moved to Ohio to be closer to him. It's just implied Oh, CTV settled the case with a retraction and an apology. God damn. Well, that'd be a juicy one to look into. Is there a police report on Mills? I haven't seen one. I've not seen one. So this is what I would like to see in an allegation like this. These are little nitpicks on this one. Duncan is implying that Mills moved to Ohio to be closer to him and have access to him. He had no problem providing statements and DMs to Anime News Network that showed a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to go through. But this is one piece that's missing, right? And this tells me that Damon didn't necessarily move to Ohio to be closer, to strictly be closer to him. It might have been coincidence. Is this the groomer that's funny is covering for? Yes. Absolutely, Solon. Solon the Lich, yes. So again, when you see these little things like I was a child and didn't fully grasp the invasive nature behind this, that is more narrative driven. I don't like that being in these documents. That is one thing I will say that I'm not sold on. I understand why it's included. I don't agree with it being in there, because that takes away from the facts of a situation, and that gives more to the emotional side of it. These allegations, when people are bringing them out, if you want them to be taken seriously, you have to leave out the emotional aspect of it. You can't insert the emotional aspect of it because you're talking about something that is emotionally charged anyways, so you don't need to make it more emotional. Where did your wrench go? I have no idea. Where did your wrench go? Why did you take your wrench off? I didn't take your wrench off. You got it back now though. I don't know where your wrench went. I noticed that last stream. I thought you just took it off. But yeah, so when these allegations come out and stuff like that, when you're talking about an emotionally charged situation, don't try and ham it up. Susan, don't try and ham it up. Don't try and play it up even worse than it is. Just stick to the facts. This is one thing I don't like about this story. I'll just say, when I first read this was the first thing to give me pause on the story. So this was the first thing to give me pause on the story. Didn't fully grasp the invasive nature behind it. You see, I don't think he was ever truly happy to be just friends. I mean, as it potentially is true, he probably wasn't happy to be just friends. Again, you can't tell what he's thinking, so you probably shouldn't put that in there. I was a naive young man. Okay, so you can state that. The first weekend he spent with me, he begged to sleep next to me in my bed. Exactly. You don't need the extra drama. All it does is casts doubt on your legitimacy, on the legitimacy of your statement, right? I'm switching this to live chat so we can see it all. When you had to make a report against a coworker, you kept as much emotional language out of it as possible to cut the facts, and it's the best thing to do because that adds legitimacy to your complaint. That shows that you are taking out the sensationalized aspect of it, and you're sticking just to the bare facts and the bare brass tacks, because those are things that can get dealt with. Emotions you can't really deal with. Facts you can deal with. The first weekend I spent with me, blah, blah, blah. A twin-size bed for one, although he was roughly twice my size. I would say that's probably inaccurate. He like Damon is considerably larger than Duncan based on the photos, but we're not talking about like Andre the Giant situation. He's probably a fair amount bigger than Duncan was, because Duncan was a scrawny little dude. Yeah, appeal to emotion's not the best move. Appeal to emotion's not the best move, because we're already talking about something extremely emotionally charged. emotionally forcing me into guilt. So again, you have to, like, he's shown. Yo, thank you so much for the super chat. MGTOwn podcast, another $5. Enough gas for everyone to get to the nearest Tim Hortons on a moped. Thank you so much, MGTOwn podcast, for the $5. Emotionally forcing me into guilt. Again, so Duncan had no problem in sharing the DMs. This, again, doesn't have anything backing it up. How do you... be specific about what's being said. What did Damon say to you that you felt that you were emotionally forced into doing this? What did he say? Like, what was your state of mind? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you could say that you felt bad about asking him to stay on the couch, so you let him sleep in bed with you even though he was bigger and it was only a twin size bed. But this doesn't feel genuine. Right? This part doesn't feel genuine. I'm curious as to how you can emotionally guilt someone into forcing you to sleeping in the same bed with them. Problem with Duncan, and it's not his fault, it's our education base because the school teaches you to use emotion and not facts when arguing. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. This is very much a feminine debate tactic. This is a political debate tactic as well, appealing to emotion. Straying away from facts, sticking strictly to unverifiable emotional behavior. So it's a very female way of approaching debates. That's female brain, blah, blah, blah. Oh boy. Somebody want to come visit. I think he's excited he's going for a walk. I'm like barreling down the hallway. All right. I allowed this. I awoke that night to him heavily wrapped against me. Doggy. He went for a walk. He went outside. Nose in my neck and his entire arm up my shirt. He was caressing my bare body. So this, again, this is very detailed. This is very direct. So I would take this as a very important fact. Mills went Joe Biden. Went to the Joe Biden school of sleeping. Again, this is very direct. So to me, when I'm looking at this and so guys, I want to break this down as to how I analyze these allegations and complaints, right? I want to break this down. Thought the dog appeared in my room. He was like right outside for a minute. His nose was at my door for just a minute. He's a cutie. Oh, no, not visiting. Going upstairs. So this is how I review this stuff. And I want to break this down into what the differences are. I can English today, I can swear. What the differences are between credible allegations, right, and fabricated allegations, and how you can tell when people are manipulating statements to make themselves sound better. There's a bit of both in this. I think more of it's like Gandhi, since he would supposedly sleep with his great niece. He could defeat the temptations, whatever that means. So, when you look at the statement here, I awoke that night to him wrapped against me, nose in my neck, his entire arm up my shirt. He was caressing my bare body. That's a very specific, very fact-oriented, either can be proven or disproven type of thing, blah, blah, blah. But this is a very factual-based statement. Where the previous statement is, he was roughly twice my size, emotionally forcing me into guilt. I allowed him to sleep in my bed. That is taking the ownership away from Duncan making this decision. Duncan admits during this that he allowed it to happen, that there was no pushback. Duncan states in this sentence that he allowed Damon to stay in his bed with him, right? But to soften that responsibility, Duncan explains that, oh, well, I was emotionally guilted. I was emotionally forced into doing this, but provides no statement and provides no facts to support that. So that's an example of a dishonest statement. That's an example of a dishonest claim. But I do believe that he awoke with Damon in that position, whatever. So this is a little bit of like the piecing together what actually happened, because there's always like three sides to the story, right? There's his side, her side, or his side, and the truth, right? There's always the two sides and the truth of what actually happened. So yeah, bots are like just all over the chat right now. Children jumping on my lap. Oh boy, Solon. Hate to say it, but unfortunately people won't know your boundaries unless you state them. Exactly. But this is another thing as well. So he just so Duncan allowed this to happen. Knew it was kind of weird, but hey, that's fine. You can sleep in my bed with me, no problem. Wakes up to being cuddled with. Okay. We continue. I felt confused and outraged. This man I had been vulnerable to, taking advantage of my trust. So again, this is a very odd statement. Because we don't really get any sense of Duncan being vulnerable at any point in time. At what point in time has Duncan, up to this point, shared that he's been vulnerable? Safi Hakubi with the $10 super chat. That should be coming through in just a moment here. Sorry I'm late. Sorry, I was doing business taxes. Came here to say, you, Damon, don't drop the soap. Don't drop that soap. Da 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 da. Don't drop that soap. Don't drop the da da da. Don't drop the da da da. Soon people are your mind reader and people won't know what your boundaries are. Is very true. Very true. Yo, Damon, don't drop the soap. Maybe Damon wants to drop the soap. Maybe Damon would enjoy that. I don't know. So again, up to this point, Duncan has never stated that he's been vulnerable to Damon at this point. We don't know what their relationship was at this point. We know that they've had a year-long relationship, friendship, whatever you want to call it. When I say relationship, I don't mean romantic or otherwise. I just mean that they've known each other for a year. They've known each other for a year. That's about it. We don't know what they've shared. We don't know what they've talked about. We don't know how emotionally open Duncan was to Damon. We don't know what the situation was on Damon coming over to Duncan's house. We don't know any more of that. Duncan needs to, Duncan's assuming that we know these details and is stating here. Damn, Stacy. And is stating here, the man I've been vulnerable to, taking advantage of my trust. That doesn't make any sense to this point, right? It doesn't make any sense at all. So to feel confused and outraged, this is probably more of a self-realization, like a self-actualization statement. I would say that the confusion was probably, it's like, well, no, I'm straight, blah, blah, blah. This feels more of like I'm confused and angry with myself than it does anything else, because we don't know the situation at this point. So he says that he confronted Damon. He tried to shy it off, saying, I must have been asleep. Then I asked him to never do this again. Easy way to have that never happen again is to just not sleep in the same bed, by the way. Let's just put that out there. Easiest way for that to never happen again Give Damon your bed and you sleep on the couch. But, hindsight 2020. To be expected, that wasn't the end of it. So again, this is a useless statement. Folks, if you absolutely have to go to social media to make a Twitlonger or a Google Doc or whatever else, or you're making a complaint to law enforcement or authorities, whether it be school authorities, whether it be whatever else, work authorities, leave this type of shit out of it. Leave this type of shit out of your statement because it adds no value. It adds no value at all. Every single time he would visit, he would beg to sleep in my bed. So, okay, that's the case. When you have him over, great. Damon, you can have my bed. I'll take the couch. That's what I would do. If I was in a situation with somebody who, I wanted to be friends with, but they were obviously more interested in me than I was in them, but they wanted the bed, okay, you can take the bed. I'll take the couch. That's the way you shut it down real quick. And then if they're like, well, no, I'll sleep on the couch with you. It's like, no. No, we've already had this discussion. No. Honestly, you've been more emotional about this than you may have wanted to display. It's the most despicable that Damon assaulted a kid, just despicable that he attacked Vic with a straight face. Absolutely. I completely agree. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later too. Duncan Person was really young. He was 15. And I understand that he probably didn't know how to say no because his parents likely never said no to him. Because that's this generation of parents. As we're going to find out here. My mother even tried to stop this. He argued with her, victimizing himself, as he usually does when he gets into trouble about things, by the way. He usually makes himself the victim and then, they're victim blaming me. And turning it into a matter of sexuality. Oh, you're just being hateful. You're just being hateful. You're just ignorant. You're just so ignorant. So he would end up next to me, and every time he would molest me. So again, all of a sudden we've lost a lot of detail, right? We've lost a lot of detail. This is the pants off, penis in situation, right? This is the stuff I tell you guys to look out for. We've thrown being very detailed out the window. We've thrown that out the window here. So this is another red flag for me in terms of the allegation. To the entire extent, I am unaware, but can at least reference times that I was conscious. So again, this statement seems to be a softening blow for this next statement. So Duncan seems to be softening the blow, saying that instead of just saying I don't remember what happened because I was asleep, or I don't know what happened because I was asleep, he says, he would end up next to me and molest me every time. Don't forget, Mills said, believe all victims. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Andrea. So, guys, again, I'm going through the statement here and I'm breaking it down, and I'm breaking it down how I analyzed it. I'm going to give my thoughts about this right after I read this, because there's another key piece in this entire situation that flips this on its head. It flips this on its head here. So to the entire extent, I'm unaware, but can at least reference times that I was conscious. On occasion, I woke up startled. He was moving around a lot. It didn't take me long to realize he was masturbating right next to me. I was so alarmed that it took a couple of days to bring this up to him. So this I believe. He then admitted to me that he had been pleasuring himself in my bed. He also told me he would get off to the idea of me a lot. Feel so much shame for letting this go on as long as it did, but also angered that someone who knows right from wrong would do these things. He doesn't know right from wrong. again, Duncan, you can't place your own morality and thoughts onto somebody else. Damon is fully aware that he's not doing the right thing. Damon is fully aware that he's being a manipulative little bitch. Damon's fully aware of what he was doing is wrong. He is fully aware of it. He doesn't care. That's what it comes down to. Firmly believe the FBI should investigate because of the age of consent 16 and the sexual assault was contained there, but it's not illegal. But you're curious about the communications across state lines. There's a lot of stuff that should be brought to the authorities' attention. The authorities should be investigating it, but depending on how compliant Duncan's going to be about it, could hamper a lot of the investigation, which would be an issue. Time would pass, but he would... So again, not saying how much time passed really hurts here. Not saying how much time passed really hurts the claim here, because this is... Up to this point, there's bits and pieces that seem true, but largely seem like there's gaps in details. He would find any reason in the world to come to my home. I tried to be as nice as possible, and it would always be my downfall. He would speak poorly of girls I would be talking to, and trash my family and I amongst his peers of actors. Where have we seen this before? I was always the bad guy. Where have we seen this before? We already know that Duncan is a snake. We already know that Duncan badmouths people when it suits him. We already know all of this stuff. We already know that Funimation is a rumor mill full of mongering clowns like this one. We already know that. So yes, this is very plausible. Very, very plausible. If Damon explicitly groomed Duncan before going to Ohio, that's way illegal. We don't know the extent of the conversations the year before him moving to Ohio, right? If we had the context and we had the conversations, we could have a lot more idea of what went on. But I also believe there's a reason that Duncan didn't share those. Which, regardless, Duncan, if this video reaches you somehow by the grace of God, this video reaches you, Duncan, please listen to me. It does not matter in the least if you were okay with what was going on for that year, right? It doesn't matter in that year of DMs that you had with him. It does not matter in that year of talking to him online if you even said it was like, yeah, it's perfectly fine, you can come down here and stick it right in my ass. It does not matter if you say that to him. Because you were not of the age to legally consent to that. Period. And Damon knew better. Damon knows this, being an adult at the time, being 19 years of age. The onus is on Damon to be responsible in that situation. So Duncan, for God's sake, if there is anything or anybody out there that can get this to Duncan, that year of DMs, because clearly you have your DMs with Damon still. That year of DMs, that year of you talking to him is extremely important, because if there's anything at all that leads anywhere, it would be in that year of DMs you had with him. Because we don't know why he moved to Ohio. We don't know why he came to your house. We don't know why he visited you. Only you know that, and only Damon knows that. And you need to share that. It doesn't matter at all. You could literally have asked him to come to your house and give you a blowy. It doesn't matter. It's Damon's responsibility. And nobody is going to judge you for being a 15-year-old that didn't know any better. Nobody's going to judge you for that. I know that you've done your best to keep your name out of things. Anime News Network didn't. Anime News Network released your image. Anime News Network released your name. So unfortunately, it's out there despite your best efforts. So the point here is, Duncan, you have to look at what's right in this situation for yourself. Forget everybody else because you're not responsible for everybody else. I'd be a hypocrite in telling you that you have to do this for other people. You have to do this for yourself because there's stuff in that year of conversations. You and I both know, Duncan, there's stuff in that year of conversations that you're not happy with. You're not proud of. And you don't want it to be brought out, which is fine. But you're going to live with that unless you bring this out. So release the texts. You got nothing to lose at this point, buddy. You got nothing to lose. Do this for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for Anime News Network. Don't do it for any of the other potential victims that Damon had. Or may not have had. I don't know. But just do it for yourself. Because people, the fact of the matter is that you know there's stuff in that year of conversations that led him to either moving to Ohio or coming to your house, discussing what you guys are going to do, giving everybody the context about what this was about. So I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. I'm gonna finish reading this though. On his 21st birthday, so 2 years after they first started talking, he came to stay with me. So on his 21st birthday, he came to stay with me on his 21st birthday. Okay. He would often beg me for hours. So at this point in time, Duncan should be about 16, 17. Should be about 16, 17. You're a digital forensic analyst, not a lawyer. If Damon did it to him, probably did it to other teenage boys. I would guess so. It's not usually an isolated incident when it comes to this stuff. He would often beg me for hours to kiss him or pleasure him, insinuating I give him a blowjob and say that friends help each other out sometimes. Come on, it's my birthday. So again, very specific details. So I'm on the, because this is obviously something that stuck with Duncan for a very long time. I'm on the side of believing this. I'm on the side of believing this right now. I'm so happy now that through the emotional abuse and mind games that I didn't give in. So again, what emotional abuse? Can you please share the emotional abuse? Duncan, if you are writing this for an audience and you want the audience to understand what you're going through, you need to tell us what this stuff is. You need to tell us. I know it's difficult to talk about. I know it's emotionally charged, but you need to give examples of what this emotional abuse is so that we as the reader can understand. I'm so happy now, blah, blah, blah. However, I would still wake up to him kissing me in my sleep and fondling me. Some of these things I was too cowardly to even address. This happened every single time I would see him. I would shower and he would make excuses to see me get undressed. One time he asked a friend of mine to send him pictures of me in my underwear. Saying things like, I know big people, I could help make you famous. That I believe. We talked about the casting couch already, right? At Funimation. I 100% believe that happened. I 100% believe that happened. As months went by, I became too familiar with the pattern and I felt trapped by his grooming nature. So again, I need to see, as a reader, I need to see more of this. I need to see more of this. I'm strictly talking about reading this document, by the way, guys. I'm strictly talking about reading this document. This is my thought process about how I'm going through and reading these allegations. This is not a situation of listen and believe. This is analyze and make a decision. He would text me often saying he loved me and become increasingly angry if I did not say it back. So this is a great example. This is a great example right here. This should have been before this stuff. I was always afraid that he would tarnish my name as a kid, and as a kid, the world seems smaller than it is, 100%. His position of success left me feeling cornered. So again, this statement right here needs to come before this. Like this, I understand that that Duncan is very likely kind of disjointed in putting this together. What Duncan needs to say here, that people that are not in the sphere of things, they don't understand, is that Duncan was in Funimation. Duncan was a voice actor in Funimation at this point. And he was using his position at Funimation, which he doesn't state up here. Where was it? Yeah, talking trash to his family amongst his peers of actors. He doesn't really get into that. He needs to get more into this. He needs to state that he was working at a dubbing studio. He doesn't even need to say Funimation. You could say Funimation because it's accurate. But he was working at Funimation, and he works with big name actors. He worked with actors that were in a very popular... Damon. No, I'm saying Duncan needs to state this about Damon. Is that Damon worked at Funimation. Damon worked with very popular actors at the time for TV series that Duncan and his friends would watch. This is all very, 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 very important. Very important to what is going on here. In terms of painting the picture of emotional entrapment. Painting the picture of, if I don't please this person, they're going to destroy me socially. Right? This is what needs to be discussed, but Duncan's kind of not getting there. He's kind of getting there in bits and pieces and not in the right order. But I can understand it's probably something very, very emotional to write about. Mills is pulling a Shinji. All right. So this is, again, I'm nitpicking this, but this is what I do to every single allegation that comes out. This is what I do to everybody. And this is how I break it down into if I believe or I don't believe or if I need more information. This is what I do. This is how I analyze this. So his position of success left me feeling cornered. This makes a lot more sense now, right? When he's saying this makes a lot more sense. That he would somehow tarnish his name. Again, yeah, the world feels a lot smaller. This guy works at Funimation. He's literally like friends with voice actors. He's friends with like the voice actor for Vegeta and Goku and Bulma, even though nobody knows who Bulma is. Like, he's friends with these people. He's friends with like the entire cast of Dragon Ball, blah, 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 or at least says he is. It claims he is. And there you go. Like, that would be very intimidating for a 16, 17-year-old. Very intimidating. I agree. I tried to stray away from hanging out with him mostly because he had hurt me with his actions. I would really like to know what... So this is what I would like to know from Duncan. What information did Duncan get to know that Damon was shit-talking him amongst the Funimation actors? How did he find that out? What was Damon saying about him and people? And blah, blah. What was he saying about his family? I'm sure that Damon was saying that his mother was homophobic and blah, 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 blah. That's the stuff that I would like to know and how he found that out, because that's very, very interesting. Tried to stay away from hanging out with him, blah, blah, blah. One time he paid for a bus ticket so I could stay with him at his house. Red flag. He asked that I sleep in his bed with him. So why would you go to his house, though? If you tried to stay away from hanging out with him, why would you go to his house? Did you feel bad? Like, this is the thing. It's like you have to tell us your state of mind. Did you feel bad that he had already paid for a bus ticket, so you just went out there to appease him? Like, these are the conversations that are going to come out of this, right? These are difficult things to talk about. I'd love to have a chance to talk to Duncan about this because these are things that I want to know. I want to know, like, why did you go out to this person's house if you felt like you didn't want to be around this person? Like, you had the option to not go. Did you feel that did you feel that Damon was going to do something? But there's no substance to this statement. So at least it's very empty for me. So I don't really have one thing or the other. He asked that I sleep in his bed with him. I woke up the next morning with him prodding my through my shorts, and that was only what I was awake for. That I do believe. I think Duncan was thinking because he was a kid and illustrated, and as illustrated kids are idiots. Well, this is the thing, right? It's like, if the kid has way too much autonomy. Hello, Stan. There's Stan the man. Wouldn't funny throw Damon under the bus if it meant saving out their own skins. You don't truly feel like they're close. Means more. I'm gonna get into that. Andrea, after I cover this document a little bit, just a teeny bit. Why does it seem like these victims are always like blank slates that go along with everything they're told? Since it's public, I feel like they should explain their reasoning and thoughts. 100%, Sam. I completely agree. Again, there are pieces to this so far that I believe, but there is a lot of it that is conflated, and I'm very, very confused about, that I need more clarification on up to this point. So, like, he's bouncing all over the place. And he's also writing this with hindsight, right? So, like, red flag. It wasn't a red flag at the time, obviously. It was a red flag looking back on it. It wasn't a red flag at the time. You're contrasting the shit with the Vic accusation, and it's worlds apart. I completely agree, Nick's Hex. I have comments about that as well. So we were in 2017. Now we're going back to 2015. A few months into 2015, I had gotten a girlfriend. Damon was so mad at me that he said we could no longer be friends. It was 2017, right? Or am I getting that wrong? Oh no, it was 2012. So we're in 2015 now. Okay, so I'm guessing the original was 2012. Then we hopped up to 2014. Now we're in 2015. Okay, so he's not bouncing all over the place. That was just me misreading it. So now we're up to the end of this 2015. Something sexual. A few months into 2015, I got a girlfriend. Damon was so mad at me that he said we could no longer be friends, and that all I had done was be toxic and manipulative towards him. I do believe that Damon said that. I do believe that because from what all I've seen from Damon has some characteristics of narcissistic behavior. And one of the things that narcissism, or narcissists, whatever you want to call them, do is accuse you of doing things that they are doing to you. That's how it goes. They most oftentimes narcissists, and I'm not even saying that Damon is narcissistic. I'm saying that Damon is a narcissist. I'm saying that Damon is exhibiting behaviors of narcissism. And one of the things that narcissists do, if they're gaslighting you and you do something, then they tell you, "Oh, you're gaslighting me. You're gaslighting me." This is all manipulation tactics to make you more pliable and make you question yourself. And like, well, am I really doing that? Am I really like, what? I don't understand. No, it's much. That's a manipulation tactic 101. He blocked me after that. It has been well over 5 years, and he has never once taken accountability for the things I do or don't know. So again, I'd like to see this conversation. I'd like to see the conversation, because obviously this happened on social media. It might not have, but considering all of their conversations seem to have been over text, appears that this is on social media. I would love to see the conversation. He's never said sorry. He's not going to, sir. He's not going to, Duncan. There's a lot more. There's a lot more to the story, yes, and several things I did not mention. Very obvious, because there's a lot of gaps in the story, and there's a lot of things that are very strange that you left them out. The point of this is to bring awareness to sexual abuse. I was underage the entire time we were friends, and he was a grown adult. So again, this type of statement makes me believe you less. This type of statement makes me believe you a lot less. This, again, folks, Damon is not a superstar, okay? Damon is not a Chris Sabat. Damon is not, I don't know. He's not a Dwayne Johnson. He's not a fucking superstar. Damon is a fucking F-list voice actor that maybe gets cast in a few things and gets brought in. He just got brought in as Frieza because, you know, he was the last person in the fucking room, I guess. He's not a go-to household name. He's not a household name. So that is one thing that I know that's working for Duncan in this situation, is that I don't think Duncan is doing this for clout. I don't think Duncan's doing this because a Dragon Ball movie just came out and Damon is starring in it. I think that adds legitimacy to Duncan's claim here. But it's very weird to do this to bring awareness to sexual assault without just going fully all in on it and like peeling back and holding back certain things. Because that feels to me like that's more of a Duncan doesn't want to accept that certain things were his responsibility, or not even his responsibility, certain aspects of himself. I think that Duncan is not happy with certain things about himself, and I think this seems to be a way to shift that responsibility a little bit. Like maybe Duncan's bisexual. Maybe Duncan's not gay, but maybe Duncan's bisexual or was bi-curious. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing to be ashamed of at all. We don't know. But from what all I'm reading in the story is Duncan is hiding things that appear, at least to myself, to put him in a situation where he might have been questioning his sexuality. He might have been questioning things that he's not proud of, or might have gone along with certain things that he's not proud of. But again, Duncan, that's not a thing to be ashamed of. Not a thing to be ashamed of at all. And you shouldn't hide those things, because when you're talking about sexual abuse, you need to be honest with yourself as well as honest with everybody. Because when you leave things out, it makes you look like you're not telling the entire story, which you fully admit that you're not telling the entire story, which then makes people question if the entire story that you've told is fact or fiction. Transference to purportedly and wrongfully assign blame and responsibility. It's an action Freud talked about. Involves blaming the victim. Absolutely power kick, Greg. Which, ironically, Damon complains about all the time, is that he gets blamed as the victim, right? Meanwhile, he's employing it the entire time. There you go. I never once consented to anything of that nature, and I would tell him over and over, I'm not trying to lead you on. I can only hope that I am one-off instance. You're not a one-off instance. You're not a one-off instance. I have had a few people message me. Unfortunately, I'm not going to give any credence to it because there's no evidence, but I've had several people message me saying that there have been other incidents. Again, absolutely no evidence behind it. It could very much well be a dog pile. So, I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping that if there are other people out there, that they speak up and don't fear pushback from this, and they have kept their receipts. That's what I will say. I hope that they've kept their messages. I hope they haven't deleted their messages. I hope they have their receipts for the entire situation, because this is something that is a delicate situation and it needs to be addressed in the proper method. Get back down to where we were here. So this feels like something, like it feels like this is a self-empowerment statement, right? It feels like this is a self-empowerment statement, which is leading me to believe that there was stuff that happened in that 3 or 4 years that Duncan was not happy with himself over, and that's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff to unpack. So he does not wish to press legal charges as a way to condemn my anonymity. Too late. So you didn't want to press charges because you didn't want people to know who you actually were. Too late. And again, this also speaks more to the fact that Duncan appears to want to avoid this, because Duncan appears he wants to avoid this being linked to him because he's afraid of being branded as gay, is what I'm getting here. There's a lot of that throughout the entire document, is that Duncan seems to be deathly afraid of being branded as a gay man. I just want my voice to be heard and to help others who are afraid to speak up. For Damon, I hope at some point has been a learning curve for him. He won't learn. Damon has exhibited, during the Vic situation and during situations that Duncan has talked about here, Damon has exhibited a few key marks of narcissistic behavior, and they do not learn. They're not capable of learning that if they're not willing to. And no one at any point he doesn't seem at any point to have want to change. No, the people will never learn. Yeah. Talking to Anime News Network was probably his biggest mistake. He probably should have talked to like a reputable news company and not Anime News Network. Spoiler alert, folks. Anime News Network works for Funimation. Anime News Network is in Funimation's pocket, or at least was. They literally get advertisements, all of that stuff. Like, they're in Funimation's pocket. From what I've heard, Lindsay Loveridge and Anime News Network have been sitting on this story for several months, by the way. They had been sitting on this story for several months. And the excuse was that they had to go through an ethics board before they reported it. Yeah, where was that ethics board when you reported on Vic Mignogna, by the way? Where was that like 8 to 10 month ethics board review when you were slamming out articles about Vic Mignogna? You seem to waive that pretty fucking quick. Huh. Seem to waive that really fucking fast. But this is an organization, Anime News Network can't even afford a lawyer on retainer, by the way. Case in point, when Quentin Flynn's lawyer contacted Anime News Network about their defamatory statements about Quentin, and their lawyer asked to speak with Anime News Network's legal department, Anime News Network's response was they don't have a lawyer. By the way, their response was they don't make enough money to have a lawyer on retainer. So what ethics board? What ethics board? Who is the only person or entity that Anime News Network is beholden to? They're not part of any journalistic society. They're not part of literally anything. The only people that they have to answer to is Funimation. So when Duncan came to Anime News Network, with this story and said, please help me, please bring this to the light, please. Instead, Anime News Network went to Damon, and Anime News Network went to Funimation. And it appears, it's just so coincidental, folks. It appears that Anime News Network waited until after the announcement of Funimation being dissolved into Crunchyroll, waited until after the handshakes were done, because the deal was already done a while ago. They didn't want any bad press surrounding their acquisition and dissolution into Crunchyroll. They waited until a few weeks after. Why would they do that unless they were directed to by Funimation and Sony and Crunchyroll or whoever is in charge of that now? Why would they wait? Why would they wait when there is potentially more people? Because now that conventions are opening up, why would they wait when there's potentially other people out there that are going through the same thing? Now that Damon has access to conventions again, because now the COVID is mysteriously gone. This is not a medical channel and I don't give out medical advice. Now Damon can go to conventions and do this all over again. How is that not more of a pressing issue than Vic Mignogna going to a convention and hugging people? How is that not more of a pressing issue? Where you have a potential child predator going to places where children go to see him. I'd like to know. I would like to know the difference between the two. Please tell me what is more emotionally scarring. A grown adult having a relationship consensually with another grown adult off property, off time, during their own respective time, or having somebody who is currently employed by a dubbing studio, who is currently voicing characters that are popular with young teenagers, going to conventions with said young minor teenagers and trying to pick up those people and trying to befriend those people and trying to solicit those people. Which is more dangerous? And why did it take you 5 months to print it? When you knew about these? This one you're probably going to want a beer for, folks. This one you're probably going to want a beer for. One second. I think my beer's here, actually. Uno momento. Sorry about that. My beer is here. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. All right. I'll be right back. I'm going to need alcohol for this. By the way. I'm going to need alcohol for reading this. Oh, fuck it. You guys will have to deal with that. All right. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back. Chair stream. Hey, I ordered beer for this stream, for this part specifically, and the beer came specifically at this part, so. Yes, exactly. So we have our official Canuckleheads beer cozy, by the way. You can get yours on the Zazzle store. Keep your beer nice and warm, or nice and cold, I guess. You don't want warm beer. That's disgusting. I did order the Mike's Blue Freeze, and I ordered a gin smash, but they always give me like extras, right? They always give me like 3 or 4 extra cans. So I ordered like 6 cans. So I ordered like 3 and 3. They gave me this like little Buddha pineapple and I don't know what the hell it was, like pineapple and ginger or something. I don't know. They gave me. I figured this was fitting. Cracked Canoe Light Lager by Moosehead. So we're gonna crack open a Cracked Canoe Light Lager. I like light lagers, so this one shouldn't be too bad. I'm not really a huge beer fan. Like I'm not a huge beer drinker, but yeah, there's like a Buddha drink. I can't remember what the hell it was called. It was like pineapple and something. Pineapple and like ginseng or something like that. It was really it sounded good. I didn't buy it. I'm like, oh, I'll try it next time. But then they throw it in as like a freebie. I got like 3 free cans. So I got like a Cracked Canoe, which is a free one. I'm gonna try that right now. Crack that open. Oh yeah. That's the shit. It's got a nice head on it too. Smells like beer. That's actually really good. That's actually really good. Which is it? It is 3.5%. Yeah, if you look like it has more of like a Canadian taste. It's not very hoppy. It's not abrasive. It's very, very smooth. It's actually really good. I usually drink Coors Light because Coors Light is just like piss water. It's super, super weak beer. But this is this is a really nice, like full body for a light beer. It's a really nice full bodied beer. It doesn't have a bad aftertaste. It doesn't have like that stark aftertaste. It feels like, I don't know how it has like a weediness to it. It's not bad though. It's like if you're a beer drinker, you know what I mean. If you drink beer, then you'll know what I mean. It has like a weediness to it, but it's light. It's nice and light, and it's like it doesn't sit in there. It doesn't feel bad. It tastes really good. All right. This is fresh cold too, so this is nice. Pretty damn nice. Future Canuckleheads branded Canuckle the Buckle beer. That'd be nice. I actually really like that. Cracked canoe. All right. Okay. You can tell I don't want to get into these, but we are. Spoiler alert. I haven't modified any of these. For the purposes of the audio broadcast of this, I will not be saying the name of the individual. Oh, I saw Batman. Batman was fantastic. Batman was so good. Anyway. I will not be saying the name of the individual for the audio, but you guys can probably read it on the text messages. So this is text message 1. So they're all in order here. These are text messages starting 3/13/2015. I've been dry for 10 months, trying not to get violent with these weirdos. No, definitely, Seffi. If you are able and capable of drinking alcohol responsibly, please crack open a beer and join me. Otherwise, drink some chamomile tea to calm you down. Much as you want 7 minutes with Damon in a dark room with Stan Bush playing in the background. I don't know about that, Seffi. He has a history of grabbing penises, so. You're in Target and Quentin's waiting in the car. Rip Quentin. Ah, Jesus. Yeah, there are previous messages. There are definitely previous messages. So 7:34 p.m. Why you no text? OMG. You're watching on your phone. Nice, Stan. So nice that you're going to crack open a cold one with the boys. Let's go. You're drinking Tang. Just going ape shit. Hello, Comrie Batmoon. Sorry you're late. No problem. Didn't want to interrupt me as I was discussing what you're reading. It's Danielle from Twitter. Cheers, Danielle. Cheers. Cheers, everybody in chat. The MMA video, the old dick twist. Jesus Christ. All right. OMG. About to. Well, if you're on here, might as well message XD, unless you're getting off. Weird. Weird thing to say to a 15-year-old, by the way. Oh, sorry. This is in 2015. 17-year-old, by the way. So this is when they were 17. So we don't have the text messages. We don't have the text messages from 2012. But there were other text messages here. So I'm curious. From 2012 to 2014, I wondered what the conversations were. It was like, unless you're getting off. I mean, like, unless, I guess he means unless you're getting off Facebook. Your home internet's down? No, Stan, no. About to. Well, if never mind. I'm never on here, lol. Well, then text. I don't know. I just saw you liked my pic and was like, you haven't messaged in 45 minutes, so was like, what? Ye? Jesus Christ. If this is the conversations that everyone's having on social media, maybe we deserve the nukes. Let me just say that. Maybe we deserve the nukes. Good Lord. Why, though? Are you busy or just forget? Come on, Damon. You're a fucking 21-year-old man. You can type out full words. Can we all play bad cards one of these days? Totally get canceled. Neither, lol. Then you chose to reply late. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, this type of talk is pretty ridiculous. 45 minutes. Who the fuck's had impatience? What I'm saying, like, relax, dude. I have a text message I haven't replied to in like 3 hours, and they're gonna wait until I'm done. So. You don't even give me a chance to reply, lol. Nope, not allowed. Just giving you shit, ye. You can reply now. Unless he meant yay like Kanye. Just giving you shit, but okay, but ye, you can reply now. Why am I reading these messages like a girl? Because this is like, oh boy. I can reply whenever I want to. Hashtag make your own rules. Nuh-uh. Stay in school, punk. Exclamation mark 1. Where am I messaging you, lol? Oh my god. Redacted. Please talk to me. This was like 3 hours later. I guess they had a texting conversation, like a text message conversation before this. 1134 STT. I don't know what that short form means. I don't know what that. I guess sorry talk tomorrow maybe. I don't know. No idea. I'm not down and hip with the lingo, so you don't realize that you didn't reply exactly. Can't talk, pal. So this is the next day at 4:38 p.m. Can't talk, pal. I hate when I hop on Facebook and I seen you posting statuses and commenting and you haven't replied to me for a few hours. Oh boy. So Damon has been stalking this kid's Facebook. I'm like, why you no reply? Because they don't want to reply to you. Get hip? No. Which means I haven't replied to anybody. It makes sense. So that was what? 312? So we're back to 39. This was before this one. We're back to 39. Gotta finish homework and what? Not at all. No, and love ya tool. Get that? No worries. Sleep well. So again, this is like playing into the thing that Duncan probably is not proud of how he was in this entire situation. He probably did feel, I would assume, was really not proud of the look that he had during these conversations, which is why he's not including them. Okay, sorry and alright, just wish I could sleep with you again and watch shit and whatever together. That was really nice. I don't know, rambling. Haha, okay, talk when I wake up again. So this is a 21-year-old Damon Mills talking to a 17-year-old, by the way. Yeah, it was nice. That's understandable. And okay, good night. Sorry for going on and on, XD. Okay, night. Sorta, kinda be up in a few hours. Good luck with homework. This is what? 3:09. 3:06 a.m. This was 3:11 a.m. So this is even before then. Okay, let's put that in order. Headache and oh my god, so good. I'm sorry, I'll hug you and give you a back rub to help. It's just a headache though. I think I need to lay down or something. Blah 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 KMS. I can't say what KMS stands for because that's a violation of YouTube. That's what I'm doing. Sorry was just trying to be nice and be a comfort. That was before 3:06 a.m. So then 3:06 a.m. I fell asleep. OMG. I did too. I'm going back to sleep though. Okay, sleep well. You should get some rest. Again, hugs tight. Sweet dreams if you do. I loves you. Hope you weren't bothered by me suggesting for cuddles and stuff. Just miss you and miss that, and I don't know. And then we got the gotta finish homework and what? No, not at all. And love ya tool. I guess that meant love you too. I get that. So it's no, I love you. I get that. No worries, because that's an I, not an L. Sleep well. So it sounds as though there was something there. It sounds as though there was something there. This is 3/7. This is even before. Right now, all I want is to just relax, and I don't want to debate my feelings with you. I want to just calmly talk about stuff. I want to spend time with you. I want to lay with you and hold you and watch stupid shit and pet your hair and sleep. That's all. I'm sorry for bitching at you for the past 3 days or whatever. It's shitty of me, I know. Ooh, boy. Wow. I'm not straight, but I'm innocent. This is really a grown man talking. Yes, it is, Sam. All right. Again, 3/7. So this is 9:29, so 11:15. Same, and what do you mean? Okay, so this is same in regarding to this right here. Same, and what do you mean? I get insecure because of girls. I just am waiting for the day you find someone, and I have the hurt from it, so I'm always on edge, even though I try to accept things. And I can't control my anxiety and pain from it, and you don't need to apologize and explain yourself or anything. Is just how it is and how I'll remain, probably. Okay. So ANN has ordered these incorrectly. ANN has put these out of order, so I'm trying to piece these together into the correct order. This is 3/6. This is even before all of them. So Damon says, anyway, sorry, loves you, what you up to. You just have to be more aware that you're control of yourself, and I'm not really doing anything, just sitting around drawing bored. How about are you? I said loves you, crying face, and falling asleep 'cause weird. Such a fucking weird conversation. That's what, 3:13, so this has got to go before that one. 2:21. This is even before all of this. ANN can't do stuff in order? No, they fucking can't, apparently. Jesus Christ. We'll go through this in order here in a minute. That's 2:21. This is what? This doesn't have a date. This one doesn't have a date. This one does not have a date. Okay, so we'll look at this. 2:20. So this is February 20th. Can't text? Why not text me? Sends an info Kickstarter about a Majora's Mask collectible. Are you messaging on here more or texting more? Neither. They're literally the same thing. Lol. Oh ye, true. Forgot you're on mobile. Okay, text then. They have out of order events as well. Yeah. So okay, this is the earliest text. This is a month later. They're exchanging I love yous. 3/7. 3/7. Yeah. 3/9. 3-9, 3-11, 3-13. All right, and these ones don't have dates. It's delicious. But, okay, so naughty. So five results for naughty. Damon Mills. They said something before this, but please, I'd love to see how big you are. Awkward face. Here, hands magnifying glass. Pish, I bet it's fine. Suckable even. Kissy face. I mean, what? Happy face. Like a pencil eraser. Pretty neato. Stop, sad face. You're not even trying. This is a 17-year-old, by the way. 21-year-old and a 17-year-old, by the way. No Eskai XD. Just, do you want to try to get into it? How can I help you get it up? Kissy face. I don't know, Sag. I promised your mother you'd never drink yet, even though it's getting close to 20 years since surpassing this chest. I'm going to pick up a drink. Telling you. Make yourself a chamomile tea right now. Have you tried touching it, kissy face? If I can't get it up, that's what I do. Kissy face. Well, happy face. Sora, I'm getting antsy, kissy face. You're like Doomslayer too angry to die? Yeah, we're almost there. Where's my drink? Let me pour one out for everybody here. Hold on a second. Where my goddamn thing at? Where my sound? It's coming. The bartender is slow, guys. The bartender's on strike right now. I have to pour it for you myself, so hang on. There you go, guys. There's one for all of you. And true, no, and true, and huh? Why don't you try? And never mind, XD, but ye. Focus for a minute, K. Kisses your neck. Come on, I know you love sex stuff just as much as the next guy, kissy face. Welcome to the salty spittoon. How tough are you? I sat through a fucking DM reading of Damon Mills text messages. Sex stuff, getting horny, XD. Fapping, everyone likes to, kissy face. And you've gotten me more stirred up than anyone has before. I doubt it. I doubt it. So can you try to, please? Sad kissy face. Step right in, sir. My apologies. For me, if you get in that mindset, I can probably be more helpful. XD. Christ. Oh, yay, and no sorries. I want to help you too. Do you have any sex drive? Is there anything in particular I can do for you? I doubt it. I don't know. You don't need to do anything. I wanna real bad, kissy face. Too many XDs. Those are the ones that I have. Those are the ones that I have. Yeah. Yeah, folks. One thing I will say. The text messages were pretty monka, right? The text messages were pretty damning in terms of that. Damon sent a cease and desist letter to the email address, I guess, associated with the Google Drive, stating that they were in a consensual relationship. You know, because apparently, stating that they were in a consensual relationship. So I was, oh boy. I have to pull up another couple photos here. The importance of this is Damon pretty much admitted that all of this happened. Damon pretty much admitted that all of this is true. At least the discussions, the discussion wise, saying that the acts were consensual is pretty damning. It's pretty damning because now you're opening yourself up to a lot of different things. Consensual relationship with a 15-year-old who was 17 in 2015. So we can extrapolate that, right? So 5 more years. He was 17 in 2015. So he's 24 now. He's 24 years old now. I don't know what to say about that. You know, like when I gave you guys the rundown of how I broke it down when I was reading Duncan's recounting of the entire situation. I was skeptical, but there were some things in there that made sense. I can't find this other picture, so I'll just put this one on the screen for now. I was skeptical, but some of the things made sense. Let me get this on here without completely. All right, here we go. Come on, we are. So this is. I think this is a different person. I don't know if this is our friend here, because this is July 12th, 2014. So it could very well be Duncan. Come on, we are single, ready to mingle. We should just fuck. You know what I'm saying. FBI, put your hands in the air. Which is a fantastic comeback for that, by the way. Same, send nudes. I'm sad. Sad face. Even put da tear. So yeah. Depending. Well, I'm guessing if this was Duncan that he sent this to, Duncan was probably 16 or 17 at the time, depending on when his birthday is. Even jokingly requesting nudes from a minor is freakishly against the fucking law. And I would not advise that at all. Damon was 21 at the time. Damon was 21 as of 2015. So that makes him 28 now. Give or take. Franklin the Turtle. It's Franklin the Turtle, Comrie. You're honestly thinking this is bull? I honestly, truly and honestly, folks, I don't believe that this is completely false. Damon has already stated that they were in a relationship and it was consensual. The problem here is for Duncan's side of things, Duncan needs to be completely honest. If I was Duncan now that Anime News Network has already released his information, unfortunately for him, they've already released his picture and had information on their website that got data mined, I'm guessing, very easily enough. Had information that gave out his identity. People know who Duncan actually is. So if the only purpose of Duncan not going to the authorities over this was to save him the embarrassment of being outed as bisexual, because that's, honest to goodness, that's what I get from Duncan's accounting of this. Sam, there is apparently all of the DMs that Duncan sent, some of them had his real name in them. And Anime News Network did not do a good job of hiding all of the DMs, because the DMs that they put in the article, they blurred his name out, but they apparently stored the rest of the photos on their website, and people easily found them via Anime News Network, along with photos of Duncan and Damon, which I won't show on stream. But it is publicly available, at least it was publicly available on Anime News Network, because it's Anime Nonce Network. And I don't think it's coincidental. I don't think it's a coincidence that got oopsie-daisied onto the internet, by the way. The text messages look very incredibly fucking awkward. The text message conversation looked extremely awkward. The problem I have, and this, again, Duncan, for God's sake, if you're listening, if this gets to you somehow, please. There is not a fucking soul in the world that cares if you're gay or straight or bi or curious. I will talk to you as someone who has been assaulted. This was before, so I'll say this. This was before I came out as trans, before I accepted myself as trans. This was when I was identifying as a male, because I did not understand that I was trans at the time, and I was straight at the time. I was not curious. I did not believe myself to be gay or bi or anything. I did have a lot of gay friends, and I did go to a lot of gay bars, because it was a much more chill atmosphere to go to. I did have a friend who a lot of people warned me about, was very creepy, was an older man, was very creepy, was very... people would always warn me to like never be alone with him, blah, 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 blah. Didn't believe them. Regularly went to his house after the bar, shared a few drinks, and went home. For the most part, nothing ever happened. Until it did. There was one night when I had a drink. And apparently he drugged it. And I ended up passing out. I don't remember what happened between me falling asleep and me waking up. But what I do know is I woke up in his bed, completely naked, no clothing. He told me after the fact that I had puked on myself, and that's why he had to wash my clothing. And he insisted nothing happened. He insisted nothing happened at all. So I knew at that point that obviously something probably did happen. And I felt so ashamed that I ignored everybody giving me warnings about this person. I ignored everyone that, blah, 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 because I trusted this person. And I kept quiet about it. I never brought him to justice. I never told anybody about what happened. And again, I've held that to this day. That if he did that to other people, then I would feel responsibility for not speaking up. That's my choice. That's my choice. That did a lot of stuff. I didn't have the choice to explore if that was something, right? Like I didn't have the opportunity to make the choice. If because from that point I avoided men. Even to this day, when I consider myself to be more pansexual, I'm very, very picky with which guys I go out with. I'm very picky, and that's because of that situation. So that choice got taken from me, much like it seems to have been taken from you, Duncan. It's not something that's your fault. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. If this was something that you chose to do and you felt shame in being in a same-sex relationship, just realize, or you felt shame that you enjoyed it. One of these things. You have to come to terms with your feelings on it, dude. Because that's something, if you let that sit and you let that fester, it's gonna be a regret that weighs on you for a very, very long time. I've since made peace with mine. I've never talked to the guy that did this to me, by the way. After that night, I never talked to him. I never spoke to him again. I never saw him again. I avoided the places that he frequented. Largely, a large reason as to why. Hello, InView Aura Gaming, how you doing? A large reason why I didn't go to the police is because I didn't want to see him again. I didn't want to be in a situation where I had to be around him again. So like that was a large thing for me. I can understand why now you're feeling like you want to take that power back and why you want to do this anonymously, because you don't want people finding this about you, because maybe you've made a different life for yourself. Realize that it's fine if at one point in your life you experimented with that and it wasn't for you. It's okay. The point here is what Damon did as a grown-ass adult was wrong. What you did, you were a kid. You were exploring. If this is what you're upset about, this is what you're internalizing, that you're angry and you're upset and you're frustrated because he took that choice away from you, or he made that such a negative in your life that you hate that part about yourself. You have to get help for that. Because if it's something you can't work past yourself, you need to get assistance. And there's plenty of therapists out there. Good friend of the channel, Ken Jennings, helps men specifically that have gone through sexual abuse. There are people out there, there are therapists out there that do that. There's plenty of people out there that's happened to. It doesn't get talked about. It's not as flashy, right? It's not as flashy as female sexual assault. It's not as like, you know, pat on the back, applaud to talk about it. But men get sexually assaulted. It happens. It's nothing to be ashamed of because you didn't do anything wrong in that situation. Because when you're talking about this stuff, at the point where you say no, or the point where you draw a line as your boundary, and that person crosses it, even if after the fact they make you think that you were wrong for setting that boundary, it doesn't change the fact that they crossed it. So like, let's just give the benefit of the doubt and say that you were straight the whole time and that you never had any any same-sex urges whatsoever. Damon crossed that line. You apparently told him, right? Maybe you guys did have a relationship. Look back and say, was there a point in time where I told him that this was a line to not cross and I found out that he crossed it? Those are the things you got to focus on. Those things you got to look at. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you folks giving me support. Again, this is stuff that I talk about all the time. I talked about it with Ron Toye. I told him about this. And he's tried to, like, this is what these lunatics do, by the way. Ron Toye has tried to use my story about my sexual assault and use that as some sort of pseudo galaxy brain excuse as to why I'm angry and hateful towards him and Monica. Makes no sense whatsoever. But this is what these people do. This is what the Rons of the world do. They use what they perceive as a weakness. It's not a weakness for me anymore. You talking about 19, 20-year-old me? Yes, it was a weakness for me. I'm much older than that now, and it's not a weakness anymore. It's a strength that I find in myself. They try and use what they perceive as a weakness to pressure you and manipulate you. You're 24 now, Duncan. You're 24, 25 now. You're going to start to come into your own pretty soon. These are things that you're going to have to look back on yourself and forgive yourself for and find empowerment in it. Because the longer that you hold on to this and the longer that you hold on to that resentment, that's only going to drag you down, and it's going to be compounded with other stuff. And it's going to be so ingrained in you that you won't know how to fix it. And that, my friends, is what happens with actual victims. That's what happens when you have actual stuff going on. Do I think that Damon had done something to this kid? Absolutely. Do I think it matters if it was consensual or not? Absolutely not. I think it's worse if it wasn't consensual. I think it's slightly less bad if it was consensual. Because in this situation, Damon was the adult. Duncan was the child. Damon was powerful, which, if you look into the rules of age of consent, by the way, if you look into the rules of age of consent, I'm fairly certain this is true in Ohio as well, because it's true mostly everywhere that has the age of consent as 16. 16 is the age of consent for people within a certain age range. Age of consent is not just a catch-all, folks. You can't have a teacher who's 25 have a relationship with a student who's 16. Because there's a clause in that. You can have someone who's 18 have a relationship with someone who's 25. You can't have someone who is in a position of power having a relationship with someone who is below the age of 18. That is a big no-no. If you look into laws, each state is different. However, most of the age of consent laws are this. I guarantee you, I promise you, look it up. That the age of consent, so when you're looking at it, when you look at the states that have the age of consent as low as 13 or 14, that is conditional on the person that they have a relationship being within 2 years of their age. If the person's 13, they can have a relationship with someone who's 15, and that is considered age of consent. When we're talking about age of consent in 16, especially in Canada, and I know in other parts of the world as well, because it mirrors it the same way, if the age of consent is 16, that's conditional on the person that they're having a relationship with not having any power or perceived social power over that person. Look it up. Because Damon went into that relationship, if it was a consensual relationship, Damon went into that relationship having power, being a Funimation voice actor with friends in a fucking massive field. I have friends who could make you famous. If that doesn't scream power imbalance. Sam sent me a DM apparently. 1 second. I have to check that. My Twitter's taken 57 years to load, so. I don't know why Twitter has just decided to be like a giant ass dick about loading for me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, again, there's a difference, right? There's a difference between just some random 21-year-old having a relationship with a random 16-year-old. That's different. Than someone who is a powerful, say a teacher's 21 years old and they have a relationship with a 16-year-old student. That is considered illegal. I would argue that Damon, being in Funimation, being a voice actor, being someone who is perceived to be a celebrity, having a relationship with someone who's under the age of 18. Not a lawyer. However, I would argue, if I was a lawyer, maybe not very well, I would argue the case that that is not a legal relationship. And this is the difference here we're seeing. And we have had endless amounts of clowns on Twitter, on social media, lining up to defend this scumbag. Saying, oh, hold on, we need to like wait and see. We need to like hold on here. What's the difference between Vic hugging somebody who lined up to see him, or Quentin Flynn giving somebody a peck on the fucking cheek for a photo op, and having someone who is a pseudo-celebrity who's pushing their position at Funimation, saying that, oh, you know, I'm friends with famous people, so why don't you give me a blowjob? Do we not see a difference between those two situations? When we have voice actors, adult voice actors, who are dating legal adults, who have relationships with people over the age of 21, and then we have voice actors who are over the age of 21, who are acting like they're 12 years old, having relationships with 15, 16, and 17-year-olds.
Where is the line here that people think it's acceptable to cross over? Why is it acceptable to go after a Quentin Flynn, to go after a Todd Habercorn, to go after a Vic Mignogna? Why is it acceptable to go after them like that? But we have to pause. We have to wait. We have to hold on. We have to wait for more stuff to come out when it comes to this. When we literally have text messages of them sharing I love yous. We have text messages of Damon requesting photos, soliciting illegally, by the way, photos from a fucking teenager. Which took less than a week. Took less than a week to find, by the way. 3 years and counting, and we're still waiting on that evidence. Evidence, by the way. 3 years and counting. Took the internet less than a week to find out. The DMs. Took A&N 5 months to report on it, by the way. Took Anime News Network 5 months. I really hope you polished up Funimation's ball sack so that you can see your fucking sheen in Christopher Sabat's head. I really hope it was worth it. You call yourselves journalists, but you have to wait until the merger is over before you release that information, just in case it damages Crunchyroll's image. Go fuck yourself, Lindsay. There's a lot of shit that you've done and Anime News Network has done. I don't even understand how you guys can sleep at night. If nothing else, just report on what you were given and say that this is a developing story and that more information will come as it comes. But no, you made the conscious decision to wait 5 months. You disgusting pieces of fecal matter. You saw the text messages. Those text messages covered 2 months. Imagine how much damage can be done to a person in 5. You claim to back victims, but you let a potential predator, someone that you have full fucking evidence being caught doing, you let him run free for 5 months? And you call yourself a publication? You call yourself a journalist? Hang it the fuck up. You are disgusting. You have absolutely no place outside of being the fucking ass wipe for Funimation that you are. Close it the fuck down. There's ways to report, and then there's ways to ball wash. Exactly what you did. And it's just coincidental that you kept the actual victim's DMs without his name redacted on your system, and then it magically leaked on the internet. Same with the photos. Because you're so much for protecting victims. Everyone's out here, yeah, you caught one. Yeah, you caught one. At what cost? The kid didn't want to be outed. You have people out on Twitter right now calling people homophobic for calling out Damon Mills. Meanwhile, you're out here leaking out information and potentially outing somebody as bisexual, potentially outing somebody, but other people are homophobic. Give me a fucking break. Funimation. You have a lot of house cleaning you need to do. Where's all your voice actors coming out and saying and speaking out against this? I thought it was all listen and believe. I thought it was we have to believe victims. We have to hear them speak up. You have no problem tearing apart innocent people. So folks, one thing I want to say. It's really, really easy, right? It's really easy to go out and attack innocent people when you've made up a story about them. It's really easy. It's really simple to go out and attack someone who's innocent because you've made up a story about them. Because when other people bring up things that aren't a part of your story, you know it because you didn't make it up. You're like, oh, no, that didn't happen. It happened this way. I know. I already know that. Oh, no, you guys don't know anything. But then when something happens that you didn't make up, oh, well, hold on a sec. We need to like look over all of this first. Hold on a second here. We need to like make sure what happened to the fucking listen to victims. What happened to listening to victims? Where did that go? Oh, you didn't make the story up. Oh, I see. So you don't have all the answers. You were so quick to defend your narrative because you already had all the answers. You already knew everything, right? Because you were the ones that fucking wrote it. All of a sudden, when something actually happens in real time, oh, well, we need to hold on. We don't know anything. We have to find out. Well, we have to find everything out. Where was that? Where was that for Todd? Where was that for Vic? Where was that for Quentin? And why are you holding back now? Is it because that you know that Damon has dirt on you guys? Is it because you know that if you speak up against him, he's going to turn the entire thing around? It's because maybe you have skeletons too. Thinking it is. I'm thinking it is. You have the Mars girls of the world. Yeah, you have a great track record, Mars girl, by the way, for outing sexual predators. Let me just say that real quick. You have a great track record for white knighting Juwario. You had no idea it was going on, right? But you met Vic 3 times, right? You met Vic 3 times and you knew everything about him, right? You knew everything about him. You haven't met Damon once, not one single time. So you have, hold on a second. We have to hold on. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. If you don't know anything about him, then maybe you should keep your fat mouth shut. Maybe you should have kept your fat mouth shut about Vic too, but that doesn't give you back pats and make you relevant now, does it? Doesn't make people interested in you. Now, Ken, I wanted to ask you real quick, now that you're here. Ken. If you had a chance to, if you've had a chance to read over Duncan's statement. Dean Domino with the $4.99 super chat. Listen, Crest, the most important thing isn't whether or not something happened. What matters most is they have wrong think or not. You are correct. That is correct. Gave you strokes. The spelling was so incorrect. Even Shane Holberg was defended by these morons just because Vic was the target. Yeah. Another individual sexually assaulted by someone and the victim forgave him just because Vic was the target. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting that Vic is being tied into this by these scumfucks. Ken, all right. Ken, I would like you to read over, because I want to get your thoughts on it. And touch base with me when you have a chance to read over. I'll send you the archive of it, but give me your thoughts on it. I don't want to taint your decision. Give me your thoughts on it because I have some thoughts on it I want to share with you. But I think we might be on the same page. Have a good night, Gav. Have a good night, Gav. Exactly, Migdown. We have people on the other side of the aisle. If you can read it quickly, let me send you the. It's not exceptionally long. Oh, I closed it. Hold on a minute. I'll send you the archive. It's not exceptionally long. I'm going to DM it to you in Discord here. Where's your stupid face? There it is. There you go. There's the archive. If you can skim over it, I want to get your thoughts on it real quick. Because I have some thoughts on it that I think you might very well have similar thoughts. And I don't want to taint your opinion on it before you read it. All right. Exactly. Eric Rollon as well gets canceled because of different ideology. Because he didn't like... Hello, $2 from Gav. Thank you so much. Good night, Gav. Take care. Because Eric Rollon was Christian, didn't fit the mold, gets booted out. What are they thinking now? We have an adult that is taking advantage of a kid. Oh man. Thoughts for Ukraine. Jesus. And if y'all haven't checked out that video from Vic, Vic was talking about the Reasonable Rangers making a donation. You guys check that out. I think it's on his Twitter. You guys want to find out a way that you can support the efforts in Ukraine and support the innocent people over there. Vic and the Reasonable Rangers have a thing set up over there that they can you can figure that out. it's baffling that there are people out here. And can I say for a second, folks, how stupid people on law Twitter are? I've said it a million times, right? I've said it like 1,000 million times, but how dumb are they? I don't know why this tweet has like literally exploded, but I made the offhand comment the other day about at least I might let the record show that Damon has done more to silence actual victims than Vic Mignogna ever has. Because it's true. It's true. Vic did not send a cease and desist letter. Much to the contrary of what Law Twitter would like you to think. You skimmed it at face value. It seems likely minimal elements of it are true, if not fully true. That's what I said too. My thoughts on it, Ken, though. This is what I'll say to you, Ken, real quick. My thinking here is that Duncan was is battling with the fact that he's bisexual. And he's struggling with the fact that this happened, and he's petrified of being branded as a gay man. That's what I read from the document. The document and the text messages and stuff like that. Because he was, in the text messages, it does show them exchanging I love yous and stuff like that and talking about how they enjoyed cuddling together and stuff like that. My thoughts is that Duncan is petrified of being branded as gay. I think that he might be bisexual, or at least be bi questioning, and he seems to be terrified, which is why he's omitting a lot of the stuff from the document. Doesn't excuse the behavior from Damon, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. But the entire situation, the entire thing. So Vic never sent a cease and desist letter, right? Much to the contrary of what people were saying. Vic lives in Texas and goes by Texas law, and he had to send a Texas Defamation Mitigation Act. He had to go for that, which requires you to send out notifications to people who have said something that is potentially defamatory before. You missed some fire, Milo. You got to go back and watch it. You missed some fire. You have to send out these notifications before you take them to court for defamation. Because if you don't, then you can just immediately be dismissed because you didn't follow the TDMA. So Vic did not send out cease and desist letters with the intent of silencing victims. Because they've already said shit. It's already out there. They've already said their piece. He sent it only as a procedure because he was filing a defamation lawsuit. He had to. There's a difference between Damon sending a C&D letter to take down Duncan's story. Hard to say without knowing more. It's possible, but it sounds like he misunderstood the issues of the power dynamic of the relationship he had with Mills. Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Ken. You might have a bit more knowledge than the average person on it. But age of consent laws across the world, by the way, but more specifically in Ohio, I'm fairly certain while the age of consent might be 16, there are contingencies on that. Right? So if you're in a position of authority over that 16-year-old, you are not allowed to have a relationship with them. Or a position of power over that 16-year-old. That's the age of 18. That raises the bar for the age of consent. If you are in a position of authority or a position of power over that individual, they have to be 18 years of age or older. If you don't hold any power or authority over them, then it goes to 16. That's my understanding of the age of consent laws. No, Vic wasn't too late on sending his. It was just the fact of like the shit's already out there. There's no taking it down to silence them. Cease and desist would be pretty much when Han Leia sent out her tweet and be like, "Don't talk about this," but he didn't do that until well after that, when Funimation did their shit. Whenever else, there's no C and D to them. It was just like, "Hey, this is potentially defamatory." Like the 400 TDMA letters he had to send to Toye for every single one of his defamatory tweets, just potentially on the fact that he could get off on the technicality. People on law Twitter are arguing that the TDMA letters are cease and desist, which are two different things entirely. You don't know if he was in any position of power or authority. A brief look into it the other day was it doesn't have Romeo and Juliet laws in Ohio. The Romeo and Juliet law is 13. If, as far as I understand, the Romeo and Juliet law is 13 to 16. So as long as the two that are in the relationship are 13 to 6, like within 13 to 16, within like 2 years of each other, that's the Romeo and Juliet law. This is much more of a dynamic thing. Whereas like age of consent, it doesn't really dip into this a lot, but this is pretty uniform where the age of consent is 16. When the age of consent is 16, usually in most places, I don't know in everyone, I haven't taken a look in that deep, but usually age of consent, if the age of consent is 16, if the person that they're in a relationship in is like a teacher or like a powerful person or whatever have you, or have some authority over that 16-year-old, they're not allowed, like that does not apply. They have to be 18. And Damon was in a position of power at the time, perceived by Duncan, because Damon was throwing his weight around as being a Funimation voice actor, being friends with very powerful people, being friends with, you know, like, oh, I know very powerful people in Funimation, blah, 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 I can make things happen for you. So it seemed that there was a power dynamic there where Damon was pushing his authority over Duncan. Which could arguably be a violation of that age of consent law. I don't know if Ohio has that, but I know the Romeo and Juliet thing is more for 13 to 15-year-olds. 13, 14, 15, if they're within that age range, then they're allowed to have relationships. A 13-year-old can like have a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old type of thing. But if they're 16 and having a relationship with a 13-year-old, that's a no-no. That is a no-no. That's the Romeo and Juliet law, and that's only in specific areas. That's not in every state. That's not in every jurisdiction. I looked this up a while ago. I think I looked this up like when I was looking up like, way back in the day for the Vic Mignogna stuff. That's why I'm like, how the fuck? I'm like, Washington I think it's D.C., has an age of consent of 21. So fuck them, I guess. And like some are as low as age 12. Not in the States though. I think it's somewhere, I think like Africa and the Philippines have like, there's like a spot in Africa and the spot in the Philippines that have like age of consent is like 11 or 12 or something like that. Really weird. The world is very strange. The world is very strange. But I digress. Yeah. Mills, the entire situation, at best, we have someone who was exerting their authority as a voice actor, that dubbed and that had access to celebrities that were basically like, you know, huge power dynamic. We want to talk about power dynamics, by the way. People on the other side of the aisle want to fucking throw out power dynamics. How could we say no to Vic Mignogna? How could we say no to Quentin Flynn? Oh my God. How could we say no? They're so powerful men. We'll talk about power dynamics. Let's talk about someone who actually threw his weight around. Damon, in conversations, actually brought up the fact that he was friends with powerful people. Let's talk about that for a minute. Like, that doesn't get brought up by anybody who's defending Damon. And there are people out there that are, by the way. I know people out there like, I don't see anyone defending Damon Mills. Well, you're not looking. You clearly just like have your fucking hands over your eyes. There are people out there that are. And regarding the people who are going after him for being gay, that's absolutely a cop-out. You can't throw out the allegations against him because a handful of idiots on the internet are bashing him for being homosexual. Sorry. You don't get to dismiss everything that he did because Johnny America 432 online said a racial and or homophobic slur on Twitter once. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? Has nothing to do with the situation. Use one of the peppers as a substitute. I can guarantee you he didn't say, I know Monica Rial. Is everybody like, who? Lends me to believe that he was in with the Sabbath crowd. He was in with the Schemmels and all the other fucking couch hopping lunatics. He was one of the people that was towing the line for when everyone was coming out. I'm friends with Monica. I believe her. I believe Jamie. Good for you, buddy. Where are they for you now? They're not in your corner. You stuck your neck out for them. Where are they for you? Sure, they aren't condemning you right now, but they certainly aren't helping you. They certainly aren't jumping out in front of any bullets for you right now, bud. They could stop a lot of bullets. There's a lot of surface area there. But if y'all think that this is just going to get swept under the rug and this is just going to disappear, way too many people that are watching this, and there are way too many people that are paying attention to this. Way too many. You think this is going to go away? It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. So what are you going to do, Damon? I will say this. If Damon wants to come on this show and talk about it, more power to him. I'll have him on. If Duncan wants to come on this show and talk about it, more power to him. I'll have him on. I'll give both sides the chance to talk about it. I wouldn't advise Damon to come on the show because I know Damon's gotten advice from his attorney to not talk about it. I wouldn't advise him to come on, but if he wants to come on and share and you know, debunk everything and tell his truth, he can come on and talk. If Duncan wants to come on here and share his series of events and talk about this candidly, I have a ton of questions that I want to ask Duncan. And you can come on with a voice changer. You can come on with a fucking avatar. I don't care. You can come on with a VTuber avatar. I don't give a shit. I will actually do stuff to protect his identity because I'm not a fucking rag news network. So with that, folks, I did tell Harima, are you still around? By the way, I know I've gone a little bit long. Gone a little bit long in the tooth. Harima, if you're still around, I can. If you wanted to add anything to the conversation, I'd be more than happy to have you on. You overheard at your workplace talking about the voice of Frieza ruined their childhood hearing about it, and they were until they were corrected. The original, he's not the original voice of Frieza, anyways. Good, yeah, not the original voice. He just took over recently. Like I said, he's the last freaking person in the room, apparently. All right, Herma, if you want on, I'm going to just do something here. Come on into the voice channel if you want. Whoops. Where are you at? There you go. You're in the voice channel if you want to chat. So. Oh my goodness.
Hello?
Hello.
Ah, crap. I guess I'm gonna have to unmute the live stream because I can't hear you at all.
Oh no.
Hoping it doesn't bleed through the mic.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
Hello?
One second.
Hello?
1 second. That's just me being dumb. I had it muted on Discord.
Better? Okay. Ah, Jesus. Oh my god. There's not enough Tang in the house for this shit. Look, I said I was tempted, but I have to be honest. That wasn't gonna get me to start drinking.
Probably not the best thing to drink over.
Yeah, true that. Fucking hell. Where do they find these guys? Like, seriously. Bad enough that we've had, 1, 2 major incidences of this kiddly diddler shit.
Yeah.
But 4? 5 out of the same company?
It blows my mind.
Are they searching through the goddamn sex offender registry?
I would not be surprised if they find that guy like from Ukraine who has a knack for finding little boys and employ him as a director.
Fucking Christ. Okay, listen. I'm just gonna say it brief because I know you've ran the show for quite a while and I don't want to stay in it for any longer if you're not having anybody else on. Look, there are people out there who want to be very neutral on this matter, and I perfectly 100% understand, because in this particular point, no one deserves to be falsely accused.
Exactly.
Not even Damon Mills. However, you'll be damned if I'm gonna give that bastard any benefit of the doubt. And I don't know if you pulled it up, Crumb. I can pull it up and send it to you. You've seen his old messages, right? His old tweets out there?
Oh, yeah.
The ones where he says, even a single story that is true shouldn't be dismissed because it would be one story too many. This guy, in other words, has basically stated that that any story, even if it's a lie, should be taken in as truth. Because there can be a story out there, even that one can be true.
Yeah.
In his own fucking words, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm gonna tell you, let him eat that virtue signal. Let him eat it. Stuff it in his damn mouth. Make him own up to it. So if you want to be neutral about it and wait till there's stronger evidence to prove one way or the other, fine, go ahead. But you don't have to go and say I don't have an opinion about it. You can go ahead and go have that opinion, even if it goes against him, because even he wants you to do it. Even he wants you to. For the sake of the victim. That is what you need to do. Let him bury himself under the weight of his own goddamn morals, if he even has any. Because based on what we have heard tonight, what Crumb has read, Jesus fucking Christ, there is no sanitation area pure enough to free this dude. Lock him up in a cell when this gets concrete.
I really hope, it's my honest hope that, number one, there are no other victims. I really hope that there are no other victims, even though I know that there are.
I hope so as well.
I know in my soul, if there's one, then there's many. Unfortunately. It's just my hope that Duncan can bring this to the authorities and cooperate to bring this forward, because for nothing else but for Duncan himself, but others, if this gets investigated, the police will pull everything. They'll pull text messages, they'll pull chat logs, they'll pull emails. They can find out exactly how many, if anyone else, this has happened to. And it's sad to say, but this could be a lot bigger, or it could be nothing. But would we rather, like Damon has said himself, would we rather take the risk of this not being true? I mean, we've already seen enough evidence so far to raise a suspicion, a reasonable suspicion on it being true. I mean, there's nothing more concrete than the text messages that show that there was something untoward going on. What that was is between Damon and Duncan, and it needs to be brought out.
Agreed wholeheartedly.
Like, I don't know where this ends up.
Keep in mind, folks, personally, I've never heard of this guy. I didn't even know he voiced Frieza. I cared absolutely zero shits about this guy. It's only because of the hypocrisy that he had spouted.
Yes.
That has led me to go, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and raise you a bullshit on this one.
Like, I didn't know who he was either. I literally was Googling his actor, like the things he's acted. He actually did voice act an Angel, which I found hilarious. In one show, one episode of one show, which is the character that's on the main screen right now. But I have no idea who the dude is. I know that he badmouthed Vic when the stuff first came out, and then he just kind of started to get roles here and there.
I even forgot about that. I'm like, wait, he did what? And I had to look back just to be sure. Oh my god, he fucking did. And I started laughing at all day long. My boss was thinking I was going insane. He took me to the fucking HR room. He's like, are you okay? I'm perfectly fine. I'm not supposed to have my phone out, you know? He was like, what are you laughing about? Don't worry! Are you on drugs? No!
Yeah, I saw that he voiced Weiss in the Yuffie episode in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and he voices a few skins in Smite as well.
Oh my god. That's just...
There's tons of Funimation voice actors that voice in Smite, which is weird. Oh, I don't use the blue Kukulkan skin anyway, so you can piss off.
Oh boy. This has been quite the shit show. And based on how things are going, it's only going to get a lot rougher from here.
I think so too. I mean, honestly, the best thing that Damon can do right now is not say a fucking word. Like, objectively speaking, the best thing he can say for himself is just not say a fucking goddamn thing.
Like you said, His attorneys have insisted that he keeps his mouth shut.
Which he absolutely should.
So how long do you think that will take before he breaks it?
It's gonna depend. It's gonna depend on
Based-
how much he gets pressed for stuff.
I'm only saying because based on the messages themselves, as much as I wanted to puke every single time I read, every time you read it, it hints of narcissism.
It does.
Or I should say it reeks of narcissism. And a narcissistic person isn't going to be able to keep their mouth shut for long.
No. Well, he already talked to Anime News Network.
That was fast.
So it's like the entire situation. The entire situation is it's bad. And I do hope that Duncan's story, if there are anybody else, heaven forbid there's anybody else that it's happened to, they can speak up and talk about this.
If this ends up being true, I also hope he does indeed press charges. I know that's difficult, but it can't just be left that he goes scot-free.
Something's got to happen.
Even him being quote unquote canceled from one convention is not enough of a remedy for such actions.
No. I mean, we're talking about something incredibly serious in terms of breaking a law, right? We're talking about more than just, him breaking the trust of a 16, 17-year-old. We're talking about like some pretty serious allegations. And we saw how far people in Funimation, people associated with Funimation, etc., had gone to destroy people over literally nothing even in the same fucking area code as this type of stuff. If I was a convention, I wouldn't want him in my fucking building. I wouldn't want him in my city.
I agree.
And any cons out there, and folks, don't contact them. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be held liable, because we already understand these types of things. Don't brigade them and tell them that they have this, that, whatever else. Don't do that. If you are involved in the convention, you might want to bring it up. But let the conventions make the decisions on that. And then you can make a decision with your wallet if you want to support that or not. Don't go out of your way to try and make yourself into a fucking dumbbell slant over everything.
At the very least, the other convention shouldn't be taking the example of what that convention did. I can't remember. Is it called Saracon or whatever? The one that just recently canceled Damon Mills. If any of you have actually read their official statement, it's rather calm, it's rather soft. It's not even implying that he will not be returning at all. Like, there's no chance of there doesn't seem to be a chance of banning him or anything like that. Keep in mind, the reason I'm making this point is because when other conventions did that to like people like Quentin Flynn and Vic Mignogna, they were adamant and clear they weren't coming back to those conventions.
That was a virtue signal.
They were harsh in their language.
That was a virtue signal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The correct way to do it would be, sorry, this person's not appearing. End of story. Period. That's it. We don't even have to say we're not inviting them back ever again. You don't have to say that. You can just not do it. You just not invite them again, and no one would know. But the point...
But what I'm saying is, what's the difference when when each of the parties that I've just questioned were each accused of similar misconduct?
Well, this is the thing,
right? And yet Mills is the only one that's getting essentially a slap on the wrist.
So three people were accused of sexual impropriety, with only one of them actually doing it.
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Only one of them
having
actually doing it.
Far more direct evidence than any of the other three.
And the
yet
two
it's
people,
that person.
and folks, when I'm saying sexual impropriety, I'm not talking about the great rape. Like, I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm not talking about anything huge or whatever else. I'm talking about having an adult in a relationship with a child, right? Whether it was consensual or not, throw that out the fucking window. There was a power dynamic there that Damon clearly abused in order to get compliance in the relationship that he had. So that in itself is bad. Worse, 10 times worse than anything that Vic or Quentin ever even dreamed of doing, which was nothing, by the way. They didn't do anything wrong. But here's the thing. Only the one person who actually did something improper isn't the one that ever got punished for it. The two people that didn't do anything improper are getting punished and have been punished.
The most messed up thing you've heard.
It's
that's
fucked.
the way of the game right now.
It's
fucked. Not about whether or not you've done something wrong. It's whether or not you are a target. And those previous two was definitely targeted to the point where other parties have been essentially forgiven for their misconduct just because they were targeting the right people.
It was targeted, and you can tell it because they already had all the fucking answers for the questions that were going to come up.
Yep.
They already had everything. They already knew exactly what to say. They had coordinated attacks. They had coordinated posts. They had coordinated tweets. They had a whole fucking campaign planned out, start to fucking finish. The only thing that didn't happen was a funeral at the end of it.
Yep. And that was likely the intention, though we can't necessarily prove it at the moment. But that is indeed a possibility.
It's the only thing that didn't happen was someone end up in the fucking ground. But then when something actually happens that they didn't have their fucking fingers meddling and dealing in, they didn't plan this. Reality doesn't get planned, folks. Reality, facts don't happen the way that you intend them to happen, right? It's a very chaotic world we live in. So all of this shit that happened with Damon just was a complete blindside to all these people. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, hold on a second. All of a sudden they're acting like we were when Vic got accused and Quentin got accused and Todd got accused, right? Well, hold on, we need evidence. Hold on.
Hold on now. Shouldn't we get evidence? Hold on a second. Weren't you all about listen and believe?
They were when they fucking made up the story and they had all the answers, yes. Because they wanted people to believe, so they had to fake believe in it.
Yep. That's why I said when they just compounded stories with stories and made sure that the stories circle around each other with enough prominence that, oh, it couldn't possibly be a lie. Yeah, it can be all a lie. 100% of the stories lied to are all lies. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah. I mean, we look at the way that it's been handled up to this point. Why is this one different? When this one literally has evidence on the table.
Yeah, think about that for a second. Think about that. When it was the other two, they were not only quick to believe, they were quick to condemn.
Yes.
But this particular person, no. Not only, even with evidence, will they not quick to believe, they are also delaying their condemnation.
Exactly.
Silence amongst all parties involved.
Exactly. It's very telling.
Exactly. Very telling.
Very telling. Very telling that Funimation took 5 months to report it. Speaking of Funimation. Not Funimation, ANN. ANN took 5 months to report it. Speaking of Anime News Network. Yeah, I want to pull up for this one.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Y'all want to pull up for this one. I've got it on good authority that Anime News Network is planning another hit piece. or at least someone who was contracted for Anime News Network, right? Because they don't actually have employees. I have it on good authority that Anime News Network is concocting another hit piece, and they've been waiting for months to put it out. And I'll give you 3 guesses on who that hit piece is against.
They wrote a hit piece?
There's an article apparently coming, TM. There's an article on its way about a specific voice actor.
Oh, are we talking about a former voice actor? Or a current one?
Well, I don't know if he's doing voices now, but I'll say he's been mentioned in the stream today. That should narrow it down.
Oh, joy. Let's see. Vic was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Damon is the topic, so I don't think he counts. I'm sorry, you got me.
So I have it on good authority that there is some mysterious person that is writing an article for Anime News Network and that's waiting on approval, writing a hit piece on Quentin Flynn yet again.
Oh, why aren't we fucking shocked?
And that this article's been coming for quite a while now. For quite some time. Again. Yes, Roxas, again. And it's
Is it about the court case?
No, it's about a person that didn't quite get what they wanted out of him and then turned coat and sold him out. Well, I wouldn't say sold him out. I would say abused their access and trust to obtain private information and then leak it to individuals out of context to try and make a situation.
My God.
So.
Well,
Andrea, the original article was shut down. Yes, my understanding is that they're trying to do another article. They're trying to do a different article now.
In other words, they're probably going to try to change the wording of it or anything to try and make it less liable for damages.
Well, they're trying to frame it in a certain way that makes Quentin and Sam out to be these terrible, horrible people, when in fact the person that's heading up in that basically released private information to people who are against Quentin and Sam.
Samantha, you have my condolences. Fuck these degenerate assholes.
Yeah. Basically, the person is trying to twist this around and make them look like make it look like Quentin and Sam were making her do all of these things, when I've had several independent people send me information that to the contrary, that this said individual, which again, folks, I'm saying this very broadly right now because this is a warning shot across the bow to these fucking clowns, that if they want to go and make this fight, I will absolutely end this fight. Absolutely, I will. If you think Quentin's going to comment on it, if you think Sam's going to comment on it, they've moved on with their lives. You deal with me, all right? You deal with me. I do this out of my own volition. Sam didn't ask me to. Quentin didn't ask me to. I do it because I don't like you. And you keep giving me content, so please rake it in. I'm sending this as a warning shot across the bow that if they do go forward with this article, I will absolutely name every single person that's been involved. I will absolutely release information that they don't want to be released. And I have independent correlation of said evidence from several different people who continue to archive you guys on a daily basis, not because I asked them to, but because they hate you too. All I gotta say, good luck if you pull that trigger. Good luck. You want to make a clown out of yourself? By all means. Y'all had fucking months to let it go. Y'all did have months to let it go. You begged me to stop talking about it. You begged me to leave you alone. And yet you just can't stop. You just can't get me out of your mind. So, there you have it. Shots fired.
Well,
Shots
they
fired.
weren't tabloids before, they are now.
Show the clowny artwork. Putting them on notice. I'm saying, putting them on notice. If they want this war, they will have it. No problem. You didn't want it before. You cried into your fucking keyboards before. You gummed your fucking microphone trying to make attack videos at me, barely making any cohesive sense while you were doing so. All of you idiots. If you think that me making a meme image of Dr. Reddit because you literally went to Reddit for your fucking medical diagnosis, if you think that was bad, oh boy. Oh boy. Buckle up.
If they were to go to, I'm sorry, where did they go to again?
They went to Reddit.
Reddit, okay.
To get a medical diagnosis.
Reddit for medical advice, you might as well go to 4chan for therapy.
You have literally no idea how deep banter can go. That was like the bare minimum kid glove. If you think that was bad, oh boy. Oh boy. No, if you take this shot, I am warning you now, I will end this fucking war. Y'all can walk away. Y'all can walk away and leave people the fuck alone. Or you can do what you're planning on doing. And y'all know I'm fucking serious. I have not fucking lied about a single thing. I have backed up every single fucking thing I have ever said on this goddamn show. You know it. I know it. Everyone around knows it. So test me if you want to. If you want to be famous, well, that's a great way to do it. You won't be the famous that you want to be, though. Won't be the famous that you want to be. All I got to say about that. I'm sick and tired of people acting like they're the smartest person in the room when they're the biggest fucking idiot. Literally the biggest idiot that you guys telegraph every single thing you do. You act like no one knows anything. I know what you've said about me. I've seen your Discords. I've seen your DMs. You think people out there think that you're funny, think that you're cute, think that you're awesome. People don't like you. The difference between yourself and myself is I am genuine 100% of the time. I'll say stuff. I don't say stuff in DMs that I'm not comfortable with having out in the open. Because I realize there are people out there that don't like me. And I realize that stuff that I say is going to be posted on the internet at some point. Absolutely. You haven't quite got there yet. That's fine. That's fine.
Damn, Crom, did you just come out of the slumps with that fucking gunfire? Look,
Well, hey,
I'm the one in the worst part of town, and even I can hear your shots from 1,000 miles away.
Oh, if we're headed to World War III, I may as well. We're almost already there, right? So,
no offense, but it might be a bit humiliating for them to lose to a Canadian with gunfire.
I'm
I
telling
thought
you.
I thought you were supposed to be nice, not when you're fucking with me.
This has gone on far too long. You
I
know,
must say.
the back
Yeah.
and forth, fine, whatever. You know what? They want attention, fine, cool. I get it. I get it that they're a bunch of nobodies that have nothing better to do than like start a fight on Twitter and get their little Twitter likes like popping up, right? Oh, 4 likes, haha.
Ah, yes, because if anything we've known is that this world is a fucking popularity contest, as if that's exactly what we do for this shit. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
That's how you know they're still got their mindset back in high school. Sorry, jackasses, but we've moved on past that. Please get yourselves into the real world, please.
Yeah. It's like the thing is here, Quentin is done with them. Sam is done with them.
And I'm glad they are, because they shouldn't be letting leeches, leech off their lives like that.
Yeah.
They
They want to move on. They want to do their own thing. And again, I'm not being asked to do this.
And if they come back by my area this year, that'll be great. I'll be glad to see them again.
I'm not being asked to do this by anybody. No one tells me what to do. I do this because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, who sounds like they're actually someone of justice? Sorry.
But that's the thing. They want to come out because I love when they come out and say that I have no life and all I do is ever follow them on Twitter and like screen cap them and blah, blah, blah. No. I get dozens of people sending me screenshots of your tweets. Dozens. Some people are faster than others. Sometimes I get 4 or 5 of the same tweet sent to me. Some people are quicker at it than others. I have a life.
I technically don't, but I'm working on that. Now, once I stop working these 90-hour shifts, that'll probably help.
But I also know that this shit won't go away because they crave it. They crave it. They need it. It won't go away. They'll keep bringing it back. They'll submerge for a time. They'll submerge like the cicadas they are. And then they'll eventually reemerge and go to the tallest tree and scream until they die. That's what they do.
Those screeches.
That's what they do. This is how this works. So, I'm putting it out there. You guys can walk away and leave Quentin and Sam alone. You can leave Vic alone. You can leave everyone the fuck alone, and everyone can go home happy. I will never talk about you again. I'll never bring it up on the show again. I won't have any content, so I won't be able to make any more merch. Boo-hoo for me. Just leave them the fuck alone.
Look,
That's
I would
it.
love to buy your merch, but I'm kind of in the middle of trying to get my car fixed. already spent like $500 on getting my brakes fixed. I still got more shit to do.
This is what I mean. I was like, I'm just a person on YouTube who covers some funny things sometimes. I cover some serious topics. I talk about conventions. That's it. There really is not a huge leap of logic to understand. If you do something in my sphere, I will probably talk about it. If you want my attention and you keep prodding me, then you're going to get it. And you probably won't like what you get. Because you didn't like what I did last time. You didn't like me last time. You're really not going to like me next time. So cut the cord, move on with your miserable little lives. I'm sorry that your husband in Finland or wherever the hell you live doesn't pay attention to you. That you have to spend 99% of your time on the internet to escape from the fact that you're in a loveless marriage. I'm sorry that you have some sort of disease that you have to look up on Reddit because you have no friends or anything around you to give you value about yourself. You have to dress in cosplay and go to Toronto to get attention because you hate yourself that much. Get help. I'm sorry that you tried to help out Quentin and Sam, but your friends are Kick Vic. And you didn't get the fame and notoriety that you got for helping Quentin and Sam because you couldn't absorb all of that and put it all on yourself because you told everyone that you did it, right? You told everybody that you did it, but that's not the case. You took everybody else's credit, you kicked everybody else out, and now at the end of it, you breached their fucking trust and ran to the people that literally tried to put your friend in the fucking ground. Seek help. You
Seriously,
don't
I thought
find
I was
help.
the insane one.
You don't find help by going out on the internet and attacking people who are living in happiness. You don't find help by going out and trying to destroy innocent people's lives. If there's something in you that is missing, go and find it. Don't steal it from other people. Find help. And for God's sake, good luck if you pull that trigger. Because kid gloves are coming off. All I got to say about that. Kid gloves are coming off. So, Harima, you have anything to add?
Oh, I gotta add. You had everything right. What am I saying here? You literally nuked the damn thing. I'm starting to wonder if America needs to go to Canada for the weapons of mass destruction and not Russia.
Did I violate the Geneva Convention?
I don't know. We'll have to find the victims to find out. Jesus Christ. Someone smell the smoke or the corpses.
All right, folks. That is about all I have for tonight. I did want to give... we got everything I wanted to get in. We ran a little bit over our normal run time, even with the extra hour. You're hilarious, Craig. Don't mess with Canada. That's right. Do not mess with Canada. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been another wonderful Canuckleheads. We'll be back probably next week as well. But I'm sure this is gonna get clipped to fucking death and put all over the internet, and I'm gonna have so much more to talk about next week too. Don't you worry. But next week I am on vacation. I have like 4 days off, so I'll probably be doing something. I don't know what. But I was supposed to go to a con. I don't know if I'm gonna go to it. See how I feel. But it's St. Paddy's Day next week, so we'll be celebrating that. Don't you worry. And, thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been another Canuckleheads. Until next time, bye-bye.